Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. I know it's confusing. It's clobbering time. Is it midnight? Is it now? Is it midnight? It's now. Well, it's at 8:30, the normal time. But after today, it'll be back to midnight or so because I will be working the mid shift again. I thought I was done, but they pulled me back in. They were like, "You want to do it for 6 more weeks? We'll give you more money." And you can't say no to more money, right?
Can't say no to more money. No.
Plus, anybody can do anything for 6 weeks. You know what I mean? And in my job, it's like you don't want to be like, oh man, I don't want to do it. Like,
no, they don't ask you.
Right? They bust your chops.
Yeah, no, it's not good.
Oh, what are you, not tough? Plus, all the guys love doing this shift because a lot of guys like they help their wives will work during the day or something like that, or so somebody's there to take care of the kids or whatever. During the summer, this is like the shift that most of the guys want because they can spend the day with their kids and then their wives come home and whatever. But I don't have kids, so it doesn't matter. But
when are you adopting, John?
Oh, I'm adopting you. The paperwork came through, Mark. I am now officially.
If I do any more public eye stuff, I will be adopted. Yeah.
But I'm telling you, when you're my son, I'm not paying you for the pages. You're lucky you get a roof over your head.
Oh, okay. So I'll have to drop this. Everybody's got to go and vote for me. My blood bone Edwin the Aces, back his book, and vote for me so I can win his art contest.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Maybe I'll load it up if it's okay with you. I don't want to.
Sure. Where is that? Is that from the studio?
Excuse me?
Is that from the studio?
Yeah, the one from the studio.
Oh, cool. Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, he wanted me to put it in, so I did. So I don't. It's fine. I'm like third, but it's only like 8 votes. I mean,
Yeah, well.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I don't really like art contests all that much because somebody will do a digital painting and that'll be the end of you doing black and white. Like, oh, it looks better,
Right. Or they're voting because they like the character rather than the.
Well, most of them did Blood Bone anyway. That's his best character.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I like this character, but it's about the art. Like if somebody draws Cable really, really, really well, I got to vote for it. I mean, depending upon the point, but if it's an art contest.
I did do a Cable at the studio. It came out pretty good.
I remember, yeah. I like your art. So,
once I drew them, I mean, it's fine. Once you start drawing, it doesn't matter what you're drawing, but well, unless it's like porn, we don't want to do that. Yeah.
I want to address a couple of these comments. I like to filibuster until people wind in.
Yeah, I think so.
Excuse me. So we got Professor Savage Dad. This isn't even a question. Mary Jane by far. Okay.
I expect
that. Many normal boyfriends. I don't think that superhero ends. Oh, I'm going to talk about one boyfriend. Yes. So yeah, I don't think superhero ends are ever into like regular dudes. I know they tried to move along with that guy with Wonder Woman. There's Steve Trevor. Steve Trevor is I think the pinnacle of superhero boyfriends. But you're right. The boyfriend is because really superheroes, male.
Well, there isn't that many women that have boyfriends in common. There's not that many women heroes even today.
Right. There's not that many women superheroes as compared to male superheroes.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of the women superheroes have like superhero boyfriends. I don't think the ship ever ends up working out. They always want to put her with one. So here is the StreamYard link for anybody who wants to pop in. I'm just going to go down the list, and I got somebody waiting in the wings. Heroic Tales. I've been bad about promoting Heroic Tales. I got a backer today, so thank you, Michael.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I hope you're having a blessed day. We are having a blessed day. I'm having a real good day. Even my wife says I've been in a good mood today. Good evening, everybody. It's Ben Sabar, voice actor. Yeah, Marcus. He says part of your chores is to draw comics. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna adopt him. He's gonna stay in the basement. I'll throw like a bucket of raviolis down every once in a while. And how you doing, Tony?
Hi, everyone. How's my mic?
Tony?
Talk. Let's see. It's too early to tell. Let's see. How's it going?
Everything's fine. How are you, John?
That sounds good. Sounds good.
Okay.
If it starts crackling or anything, I'll go into.
We'll yell at you and shame you like we do every week, Tony.
Oh yeah, I was like, okay, super. So we'll filibuster for a bit more minutes, usually about 10 minutes. Sunday I'm gonna do Sunday comics. I'll probably go back to the X-Men. Last week I did Heroes Incorporated.
You didn't find number one yet?
No, I won't find it until I go back there and
Evan Wolf has been have posted some of those on X.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is Gail Simone commented on that, like on my Twitter. Oh, I love watching these weird comics that you do. And this is like the second time she so I'm like,
nice. Good for her.
Why don't you come on my channel?
Yeah, you should get her on.
I'm trying.
I'm surprised she doesn't come on. I mean, why not?
What
What is she writing now?
I don't even know.
Gail Simone is a pretty good writer. The stuff around Gail Simone is all hasn't always been fun. But she wrote a nice Wonder Woman, right?
If you're watching this, Gail, if you're a secret John's Longbox follower, and we have different political views. I would like to talk to you about comics, about writing, and I would also like to question you about like fridging and things like that. So it will be.
I remember that.
I'm not going to just kiss your ass either. Like the same with Heather Antos. I would like to have her in and have a Charlie Kirk type dialogue without the ending that happened to poor Charlie Kirk. That was not a joke. That was just what I'm talking about, like a real dialogue. Yes, I'm willing to talk to anybody. It's funny. Maybe I think my britches are too big, but I messaged Mark Miller this week, and I was just like, hey, Mark, I know I might be overstepping everything, but is there any possible way I could get Alan Moore's contact information? He is my holy grail. And within seconds, Mark responds, hey, John, everybody's looking for Alan Moore. He goes, I want him for my show too. He goes, I joked, I said, maybe Alan just doesn't exist on this plane of existence anymore.
Well, he might find that funny.
Yeah, he laughed and he says, I'll be coming back on your channel soon. So there you go.
Oh, nice. Good. He's a good guy.
Mark is super cool.
I have the cats grabbing my arm.
Oh, cool. Cat's
Which means I have to stop everything I do. This cat's nuts.
Is that Butterscotch?
Yeah. He likes me. Yeah.
Let's see the cat.
He wants to see. Show us your pussy, Mark.
Hold on. He doesn't like to be picked up. Come on.
Yeah, and Tony, you got that big beautiful dog, right? There you go. Look at that.
He's over there. Oh, what a beautiful cat.
Oh, thanks.
That's beautiful.
Oh. We have two cats. The other one's not. Oliver's the other one. All right.
Is it true orange? Because I've never had an orange cat. I've always had like.
They're nuts.
Yeah, they are nuts. Huh?
I've had a couple orange cats. They're all unique. They're nuts. My father calls them the money cat. If you have orange cats, you're going to make money. I don't think that's been true, but they are crazy. Like this cat.
Yeah, that's
he's really active.
Orange cats cause problems. So Tony, the dog back to make an appearance.
Oh, Lucy.
My cat's name is Lucy.
Oh wait, I'll pet you. I should.
Lucy, come here.
The pets. This will be the pet. So.
Come on.
Oh, Marcus, I'm just putting a picture in your messenger on Twitter just so I can bring it up.
She doesn't want to be on camera.
She's shy. So I'm just putting a picture in Marcus's.
All right.
That way I could just bring it up. That'll be helpful for tonight's discussion. Okay.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Okay, so we got a bunch of people watching. I always like to wait.
I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah. So Gingers of the Cat World.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Orange. Is it okay? Here's it. Maybe that'll be a good clobbering time. Orange cats versus every other cat. Are they really crazy?
My money's on Heathcliff and Garfield.
Well, that's why they're orange, right?
Yeah. Mark Miller is my favorite writer of all time. His Ultimates book was the first comic book I ever bought with my own money. There you go. Old Dirty Fatty. I'm late. Did I miss anything? No. We're talking about cats. We're talking about dogs. And
Old Dirty Fatty ought to come on.
Yeah,
one day.
We're in the filibuster stage, but I think this. So tonight we're talking. So for those of you who watch it, it's clobbering time. This is where we have this versus that. Sometimes it's more serious. Sometimes it's a little bit more goofy. And this could go either way, because people like their whatever. So this is who's the best, and the way I presented it is who's the best normal, like non-super powered boyfriend or girlfriend for a super powered person. So we're talking Lois Lane to Clark Kent. We're talking Mary Jane to Spider-Man, with Vicky Vale to Batman. You know what I mean? We're not talking, Wonder Woman and Superman kind of thing.
Oh, Batman! That reminds me of one. Probably nobody remembers.
Right. So there we go. So that's what today's topic is. So I guess this could be anything. This could be anything. And you know what else it could also be? This could be totally insane because Jesse Blaze Snyder might even show up. So Jesse, I don't know if you know, but this is It's Clobbering Time. And every week we have this versus that. So we're going to talk about superheroes. Yeah, so tonight's topic is superheroes. Who's the best normal boyfriend or girlfriend for a superhero? Like, so we're talking about like the Lois Lanes, the Mary Janes.
The best normal boyfriend or girlfriend. That's interesting.
Right. So
I can tell you who the absolute worst is.
Okay, good. Tell us who the absolute worst is.
It's like right to the top of my head. I have always felt this way. And I mean, it's difficult to argue. There is a reason why Stephanie Brown, spoiler, never went over well as like the new Robin, the new Bat family member. And that is because she was the worst fucking thing to ever happen to Tim Drake in his life. He was a hot mess. Literally every story in his solo book essentially would revolve around her making some stupid decision and him like feeling for her a certain amount of empathy because he was the intelligent one and she was the adventurous one who would just make stupid choices. That was one of the most maddening relationships for any hero I'd ever experienced in my entire life. Stephanie Brown, like, oh my god.
Okay, so we have a contender for worst. So
we could do worst too.
I gotta think less because I have one I like.
Tony, what are you gonna say?
Can Catwoman be considered in this because she has no superpower?
Well, she's a, you know what I mean. She's a costume character. She's
all right.
But yeah, leaving Bruce Wayne at the altar, she's a contender for worst. That is the worst.
We can. Why don't we just blame Tom King instead of Catwoman? We all like Catwoman.
Yes, I have a worst normie partner, girlfriend, boyfriend. I'll bring that up later. Okay.
Yeah, I have like a best that isn't really like it's not good for him. But I have always been partial to Talia al Ghul as a love interest to Batman because of the ways in which he challenges him and how attractive she is within a framework that he's not remotely about.
But I'm going to overrule. She's not a normal person. She's not a civilian.
Would we not count her as a normal person? I mean, she's just Raish's daughter.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Second in command of international squad of assassins.
A rich girl.
I think as a boyfriend, Raish was pretty weak too, though.
I got 3 nominations for 3 of the best.
For the best were your nominations.
So first off, Jesse, this is Tony. He's a regular on this. I don't know if you know.
Maybe I've met Marcus once or twice before.
I've been on before. I've been around. Yeah.
I think we've been on a thing together before. Nice to meet you, Tony.
So Tony, who do you want to bring up?
For number 1, it would be Margot Lane for The Shadow. For number 2, it would be Diane Beaumont for Wesley Dodds.
I didn't even think of her.
Diane Beaumont, right.
Number 3, Inza Kramer Kent for Dr. Phil.
Oh my God! I am so embarrassed. I didn't even think of these ones.
Yeah, I'm even more embarrassed. I mean, I'm aware of the characters.
No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
but I don't think I read it deeply. The Shadow I never read. And then both of these characters, I guess.
Doc Savage, I know Doc Savage.
Individual series where maybe they've shown up, but I haven't really come across too much of their romance.
All 3 of these women were created in a time where all the women were damsels in distress, but all 3 of the ones I nominated were active participants, equals to the men, and actually contributed things to the story, to the adventure. They weren't like Lois Lane, who was constantly getting kidnapped or anything like that. They were equal partners. So that's why I said.
I want to talk because I'm so embarrassed that I didn't think of those. Oh, good ones, Tony. That's why I like when you're on. I'm so glad you fixed it.
Well, you could add Jane too. Jane and Tarzan, right?
Jane I thought about. But I want to talk about Diane Beaumont for a second. She is the girlfriend, the paramour. That's the word I should have used. Paramours for Wesley Todd's Sandman.
This is the internet, and the problem is nobody knows what paramour means except for you, John and Tony.
Well, I like to pretend I'm a
you really can't assume intelligence.
So, but she did debut back in the Golden Age.
Yeah,
I never read any Sandman in the Golden Age, but I fell in love with that character during one of my favorite comics of all time, which was Sandman Mystery Theater. It was in the 90s, and it was written. It started out by Matt Wagner with art by Guy Davis, whose art is so different, so unique.
I remember that.
Didn't like it at first, but man, did I fall in love with guys. Thank you, Tony, for making me remember this comic series.
Yeah, I love the Sandman Mystery Theater run.
Sandman Mystery Theater is so good. And Diane, she knows Wesley's Sandman. She's a helper. She kind of is like Margot Lane.
Exactly like Margot Lane and like Inza Kramer. They both know that they know the secrets. They help cover for them. They do research, stuff like that. Yeah.
And she's not the girl boss either.
No.
And she's not, and she's, I hate to say this, but she's not unlikable like Lois Lane. Like Lois Lane has always been fundamentally unlikable.
I'm not. I see. Okay. Can I say?
Yeah, Jesse, go ahead, Jesse.
Look, nowadays there's terms for people like me. They call me non-binary, right?
Oh.
That means I never really bonded with the men over macho stuff. I had guy friends who thought I was gay growing up, but I'm not. I'm just
and you have comic book creators who still think you're gay now.
But I'm a more creative.
This is the internet.
I'm a more soft kind of guy, and I love tough women. So I have never seen.
Matter of fact, he pays for tough women by the hour. I know.
But I literally have never seen in Lois Lane what you just described. Like hearing it put like that, I'm like, are you calling Lois Lane the most powerful woman ever presented in comic books, a career-oriented woman since the 1940s? You're calling her like a cunt? Like, no, man.
No, I'm calling the John Byrne version.
I feel like she is one of the best couples because a good relationship makes you a better person. Right. Lois Lane is not Mary Jane or Gwen Stacy that just make him feel nice and make his life better. Lois Lane is somebody who is
they're not. Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy do not make Peter's life better.
No, but they do when things are nice. No, they do. It's the circumstances of Peter's life that aren't better. But having a supermodel girlfriend, it makes your life better. Having an intellectual, sweet, cute girlfriend who thinks you're just as handsome as Captain America, that makes your life better. It's when you can't get it together, when you're late to date, when you keep blowing it with them. It's not the girls that are really the problem in Pete's life. They're very supportive. They're very it's positive, except he keeps fucking it up through circumstances. But Lois constantly is challenging, even in that not great Superman movie, you get that conversation which really hits on a Lois Lane thing between Superman and Lois, and she's like, well, you caused an international incident.
I went to the bathroom during that scene.
It's a reasonable scene for the type of character because
enjoy the movie
is morally just doing the right thing, and Lois is going, you got to think about these things a little bit more deeply than you are, and I like that. Lois is the thinking man, and Superman is more like a girl who's being empathically and impulsively doing what he thinks.
I'm going to amend my statement. I got Superman comics sporadically before John Byrne. I didn't like DC Comics before Crisis on Infinite Earths. Mm-hmm. So my real, I see Lois Lane in the cartoons and obviously the Margot Kidder in the movies, which I did like, and the TV series. I mean, Terry Hatcher. How can you not like looking at her? But the comic book version, the John Byrne, her very first line is she kicks open the doors.
I remember that.
What's news, wage slaves? And I instantly didn't like her. Like it was just arrogant.
Wait a second. Lois Lane said that?
Yeah, in the John Byrne Man of
Yeah, she did. He's right.
Oh, I never read much of John Byrne, only because the Next Men looked like the worst idea for a comic book I'd ever seen in my life.
He did that before Next Men, right?
I know, but I just didn't trust him after that, because when I was growing up, all that was being promoted was Next Men, and every image I was like, this looks like the worst book ever. Like
Next Men, excellent.
They're just a group of characters. I'm like, I don't care. I don't think he's a good writer, so I never bothered to read. I heard
Next Men was excellent. And I
you're about like, I think John's going to kick you, Jesse.
No.
Eric Larson famously like hated John Byrne, and like they were in a feud, and I was an Eric Larson disciple. So for me,
they were in a feud. That's absolutely true.
Passively like just on Eric's side. Like, yeah, that guy seems
I got to ask, Android 18, best girlfriend. I don't know who that is, but Tony, Tony's waiting patiently to say something.
I was going to say Golden Age Lois Lane was the best Lois Lane for me. Silver Age Lois Lane is when she just became a professional damsel in distress. The one in the 40s. You ever see the Max Fleischer cartoons?
Yes.
Yeah, she was feisty, man. She was going out there, getting into the thing, getting into the middle of the battles, taking pictures, all that stuff.
My kind of girl.
She just was like, save me, Superman. That was basically all she was,
And Inza, what you said, I can't believe I forgot Inza. She was a really good girlfriend. And one of the things I liked about her was Clark, what Kent Nelson was the original Dr. Fate, and Inza Nelson, his wife. Even in the 70s, when I bought the back issues of like Justice Society and she was in it, if the subtext was that they were a very passionate couple, which was
I haven't bought those.
Which is an odd thing to show back in the 70s. I don't know if it was like Wally Wood putting like acting on Inza because he was a notorious prankster, but I always liked. I like it when married couples are into each other. I hate the bickering spouse.
That's the way Gardner Fox wrote her back in the 40s. Exactly. So,
yeah, they were a very.
Well, the 40s was the beginning time when they had the feisty girls.
Right.
They were helping with the war effort, and all that stuff.
And then the 50s, they were supposed to go back to being the good housewives kind of thing.
Oh, Sierra Hall or Sanders.
Yeah, but she's home girl, so she's not a normal person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I got to bring this up. JP Fawn spoiling it. Donna Troy's older husband, Terry Long, he is the worst normie.
Yeah, he's definitely creepy.
Oh my God.
Terry Long, yeah, definitely.
Oh my God. There's not one person
that was like, I don't know what they were thinking with that.
Yeah, that is the
I'm trying to remind myself. I've got a list here of like 100 greatest comic characters of all time. Every one, I'm like, who is his girlfriend?
Right. Jesse's doing. Sorry to spring this on you, but
no, it's okay. I'm like.
Jesse messaged me like a half hour ago, and I invited him in, so he came in cold. You're doing good. You're hanging on. You're doing.
It's
good.
a really good question. I'm like, there's a lot that I like.
Tony, what happened? Oh, I thought you had a stroke and fell down or something.
I kind of have like requirements because like I feel like a Mary Jane or Gwen Stacy are kind of similar.
Well,
kind of, and I feel similarly about Wally West's wife. It was Iris West.
No, that's Barry Allen's wife was.
What's Barry Allen's wife? What's Barry? Linda West.
Linda Park, right?
Linda Park.
That's right.
I really liked her a lot. But I don't know if it counts that a writer, is just really charming and like made me like her. Like Jeff Johns made me like her a lot. But like, I don't feel like she's necessarily story-wise
Star Sapphire.
Doing the same things that Lois Lane does for Superman. That really is a good.
How about this one? We did Silver St. Cloud.
Oh, okay.
Englehart Rogers Batman, who figured out Bruce Wayne was Batman during the scene.
Right, she did.
What about Deborah Whitman in Spider-Man?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's her favorite because he likes nerds.
That's my favorite Spider-Man girlfriend.
She was nice. You should have gotten her. She was still
probably did. I think that's something about whether Peter actually slept with any of these girls. We just assume he did,
It's funny. My buddy's wife, my buddy Jimmy's wife, we grew up together. I introduced them to we were childhood friends. And she always used to say, in Happy Days, Fonzie just kissed the girls. Fonzie just kissed the girls. So like that's what I think. Peter Parker just kissed the girls until he was Mary Jane. It was clear that they were doing more than kissing.
Well, do you remember this? Well, you might not, but do you remember the scene where Gwen had died and they really didn't? It was like today it would be like 2 issues and he's over, but it really took a year where Peter was very bitter that whole year afterwards. And they brought I don't know, it was right before they brought back the clone for the first time, and he was seeing ghosts of her, and he's just in tears and he's screaming like, Mary Jane, get the hell out, get the hell out. And then the writer I think this is Ross Andrew Jewett, and she was going to leave, and then she closed the door and stayed. And that's the thing where experts think that's the first time they got together.
Okay.
Without being crude.
Oh, okay. All right. So the comments, wow, I didn't think this
I remember everything.
Be so fire, but like, first off, I want to go. You guys got some. First off, Terry Long was the worst, creepiest. He was Marv Wolfman's self-insert, and they drew him to look like Marv Wolfman, except they gave him like orange hair, but he had that horrible fro.
Oh my God, that fro!
And he was like 45, and Donna Troy was supposed to be like 18. And like it was just the worst. And
I always thought Donna Troy was a really great match for Dick Grayson, Robin, but I know they were always hooked up with Starfire. But I always thought Wonder Girl and Robin would have been great.
I like Wonder Girl and Robin as like a brother-sister dynamic. You know?
Yeah, I could see that too.
I have a genuine answer that I think is probably got to be in the top 10. Alicia Masters.
Oh yeah, I was getting that.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're talking about like a relationship that elevates the character, not just by being somebody who likes them,
Except when she married Johnny Storm.
Yes, granted. I was going to say there have been things done with her since that sort of put, but when she's been handled well and when that's been done respectfully, this sculptor who is in love with the Thing, who feels fundamentally unlovable, and she's just, I don't know, readers, I think we've always read a lot of depth into her because she's this, she's damaged, her dad's a villain, she's an artist, and she can't see, so she's introspective probably in some deep way, and she's seeing the things in the Thing that we appreciate that other people can't appreciate the way we can. The Yancey Street can't appreciate this, but she can. Like I always like when a relationship is kind of like a surrogate for the audience's feelings about the Thing, or not the Thing, but about the characters. So the fact that the audience is like, we want him to have a girlfriend, we want him to be happy.
Right. Whenever Ben Grimm and Alicia broke up, it was like a universal no.
Yeah.
Also, it's the same name as my sister, so there's that.
So Jesse already stole my favorite, which was Alicia.
Well, I knew that was going to be your favorite.
I was going to say, like, that was the first one that clicked my brain. I went, oh, that's one of the best ones.
And then there was somebody in the chat. Okay, here it is. Metamorpho's girlfriend, Star Sapphire. Marcus, you want to talk about her for a second?
Well, she was in, not only that, she was Metamorpho. I dropped my pen top. Metamorpho's girlfriend, and she had no powers. She was the daughter of Metamorpho's main villain, who was trying to destroy him and keep them apart the whole time. And right. I don't know. It seemed kind of silly, but she's very dedicated.
Right. It's like Romeo and Juliet and West Side Story in one. Like, the families are fighting or the gangs are fighting. But Star Sapphire is a beautiful, beautiful girl. The father basically wants to use her for like political business advantage, and he hires Rex Mason. She kind of falls for Rex Mason, and Rex Mason, Metamorpho, is Indiana Jones. He's handsome. He's cool. How could she not fall for this guy? And then he gets suckered by her father, and he turns into Metamorpho, a hideous freak, like the Pinocchio. I love the character of the Pinocchio, the guys who lost their humanity. But she still loves him. And not only does she still love him, they are like a devoted couple. Like they're a sweet couple. They're the kind of couple that like they just want to like. This couple always comes up as one of the best couples in all, like Scott Free and Big Barda, but they're both super powered, so they don't qualify for this. But like they're one of the
best couples.
Right, they're like the best couple, But I would put like Star Sapphire and Rex. She knows he's a monster. She loved him when he was. It's kind of, as mean as this sounds.
She stayed loving him after he turned into a monster.
Right, just imagine like somebody gets into an accident and they're all burnt up and the wife stands by him. You know what I mean? She's one of these, she's a stand-up woman. So she's probably number 2 in my pantheon of best boyfriend, girlfriend, paramours. I'm going to use the word paramours.
Zenobia and Conan.
I don't know enough about them. You got to tell me because
Zenobia was one of the main characters in The Hour of the Dragon, which was the story that Robert E. Howard wrote about Conan. It's basically the story in which Conan becomes a king, and Zenobia is one of the king's harems that helps him escape the dungeon and kill the king, and because of that, he makes her his bride.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
I don't know anything about this. I can't speak on this. I never read that story. I know more about Belit than Zenobia.
All right, I'm amassing my list. I've got 4 good ones.
Anybody want to talk about Sue Dibney?
Oh, Sue Dibney. Well, she was his partner. That was Nick and Nora. Like, that was the idea.
I think of Identity Crisis.
Right. I was going to get to.
Oh no, they ruined her, and that was just disgusting.
That was awful.
So those of you who don't know, Sue Dibney is the wife of Elongated Man.
Yeah, no, I know Sue largely from Identity Crisis, and I remember friends of mine at the time talking about
she was supposed to be. It's supposed to be like the Thin Man. It's like the old 40s, banter back and forth, and then they solved mysteries before they had Dr. Light do awful things. I mean, really awful. I got Identity Crisis, and that was I don't know what they were thinking.
I think Sue Dibney. I used to say Cyclops had the worst character assassination of all comic books. Now that you made me think of it, Sue Dibney probably. They were a great couple. Like you said, they were a 40s golden age. Katharine Hepburn, Spencer Tracy quipping back together. And, they kind of busted on each other, but it was like loving. It wasn't like a modern 90s sitcom where the wife just puts down the husband. They sang each other. They were a good, fun couple. And she put up with the Elongated Man's nonsense. They're dressing up, going to a birthday party, and he smells a mystery, and she what he does, you know what I mean? And he always comes back to her. They were a fun couple. And then, guys, I cannot not recommend Identity Crisis enough.
The art's nice.
The art is beautiful. The one thing I liked about Identity
Hold on a second. Fair is fair. Identity Crisis is very good. If you read it and you're going, they changed Sue Dibney. If you didn't know Sue Dibney, and I didn't, it was so based. It was like a random person had been adjusted. The actual story there, and the art's incredible.
The art is
incredible. It's not like it's it's Brad Meltzer. It's not the worst written thing, but what they did to a beloved character, right? And they did an awful thing. Say Elongated Man had a girlfriend. We didn't know who she was. She wasn't created in 1964.
Yeah.
Then maybe it would be shocking, but not so bad. It's just something that happened in a superhero comic that we're not ready for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
One thing I really liked about Identity Crisis was they were like, okay, it must have been this, and then Batman takes off, and then they're like, okay, he's out of here now. This is what we're really like. We had to get rid of Batman before because it's gonna get bad. We
can't. Yeah, we're being bad. Yeah.
That I thought was clever. Old Dirty Fatty asked the eternal question: can the Thing have ED problems? I think the Thing has the opposite of ED problems. He's always
erectile dysfunction.
He's always rock. He's always rocked up.
Old Dirty Fatty, I don't know what you're thinking, buddy.
Did Peter ever warn his gal pals that he has radioactive blood?
Well, the only one who knew he was Spider-Man is Mary Jane.
Yeah,
I because of all the reprints that Marvel. I'm old, so I'm older than John, Jesse. So yeah.
I'm older.
They reprinted all these Gwen Stacy. I always thought Gwen Stacy was his great love because I read so many of those late 60s books that they reprinted in the 70s. Not that I did dislike Mary Jane was around as well. And she did not have the personality of Mary Jane. She wasn't the party girl. She was the good girl, And, they ended up killing her off because there was a dead end. They didn't want to marry off Spider-Man in 1973 because he's still only like 18 years old or 20 years old. And, what's the age of the readership? And that's why they do those things. So I've always say Gwen Stacy, but she's doesn't have the personality Mary Jane does and didn't do as much.
Well, I'm gonna take an opposite, unpopular opinion. Do you remember what Gwen Stacy's first line was? Like everybody remembers Mary Jane's first line. Face it, Tiger, you just hit the jackpot. That's classic.
I have a redhead girlfriend, and I have that Funko Pop because
every comic book fan has a thing for redheads, Jesse, and I think it thumbs Jane.
I know this is the thing. I feel like I'm the quintessential comic book writer because I'm like on track to marry a beautiful redhead. I'm like, this is what
there you go.
Read comics, fall in love with redheads, and then find one in the world.
But do you remember Gwen Stacy said, Peter Parker, he's the only guy that hasn't given me a tumble.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. That was that. Yeah, but when they say that in the 60s,
I know.
And it does now. Yes, I remember that.
Thought that Gwen Stacy was the bad girl, but her love for Peter
was supposed to be
the girl.
She was supposed to be the bad girl.
Right. She was the bad girl, go-go girl, and she became the good girl, because
it works bad in this comic.
But I will say this, Marcus, the entire nation of Mexico is on your side.
I know that.
Because, Jesse, did you know this? That
this is great.
Marvel Comics licensed out Spider-Man for Mexican comics. And for the most part, they just copied Marvel Comics. But when Gwen Stacy died, the Mexican comic book company was like, nope. And they just made new Spider-Man stories where Gwen Stacy still lived. So
That's right.
It was like a couple of years of new original Mexican-only Spider-Man stories with Gwen Stacy. And I will just say this. Those Mexicans knew what to feed Gwen Stacy to power her dynamo.
So
look at that.
I read about this situation in Tom Brevoort's blog. He really breaks it down over like a couple of episodes. I don't know if you saw it there, John. And the story is exactly what John said. They were so mad that Gwen Stacy died. They just turned it into a Gwen Stacy Peter Parker comic, and Spider-Man was barely in it. And the greatest thing is all the art was basically light box from old John Romita and Gil Kane that were kind of twisted. Everything's colored wrong Mexican. It's really, really entertaining.
So, Oscar, if you're in the crowd, because he messaged me, he goes, Mexican Gwen Stacy all the way. And I already had this prepped and ready to go. Oscar,
yeah, absolutely.
Got you back. Mexican Gwen Stacy for the win.
I have a list of a few that I'd like to name for different reasons, but like they're all kind of qualifiers. And then there's one that's kind of is a big deal for me, but I don't think she's kind of had enough screen time to quite be the number one, But first I'll say in the Iron Man films, Pepper Pot is handled exquisitely.
Yes.
He's a rich billionaire, too much to do. She's an organized, glorified.
She's also a redhead, Jesse. I know where you're going. I know.
But she in the films, that Pepper as the executive secretary, like I'd never appreciated it in the comics before, even though it had been there on some level. But I really do think that Pepper and Tony relationship, one of the reasons why the films elevated that character, because they did succeed at making you give a shit about Tony and Pepper.
Well, they also weren't going to use Gwyneth Paltrow in a bad role either. You know what I mean? Like how much money they're paying for her. So, but I agree with you. Pepper was really well done.
Then there is one that I love, and it has been done well sometimes. But it just because it's an ensemble book, there's not a lot of time for it. But I always enjoy Professor X with Moira McTaggart. They've done some things even that I've just heard about, like in recent times when she got like a little bit of a time to shine. A lot of the recent X-Men stuff hasn't been great.
That one I thought about, but I'm like, now she's a mutant with powers.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, but she's always been.
For my most part, she was a normal person. So yeah.
Yeah, she was a really grounding force for Xavier, and I liked her.
But she was dating Banshee. By the time we met her, they broke up, and she was dating Banshee.
Yeah,
but wasn't Proteus her son in that great comic?
Yes, but she had the potential to, again, a good relationship that is additive to the character.
Jesse froze, or did I freeze?
Froze? Can you hear me now? Hello. Can everybody hear me?
I can hear you.
She had the capacity.
Did I freeze, or did you guys freeze?
I didn't see you freeze either. But Moira had the capacity to
back?
Yeah, we can hear. We're good.
Oh, so okay. I didn't know if I froze or if you guys froze.
I think you're good.
It's fine.
Jesse's circling. So I don't know. Can you guys see Jesse?
I can see Jesse.
I
Okay,
can see everybody.
I can hear
Okay,
myself.
yeah.
But she.
What was the name of
has that
Cyborg's girlfriend?
capacity-
Sarah. Why can't I remember her last name?
But Cyborg didn't have any equipment to satisfy his girlfriend.
I just started talking because I don't know if you froze or I froze. So go
That's
ahead.
okay. But Moira, I really think had the potential and still has the potential to make Charles a more interesting character. Additionally, Savage Dragon never messed around with like a lady for he's very Spider-Man inspired, so there was just a constant stream of kind of interesting women in his life. But his very first girlfriend, Alex Wilde, who is a police officer,
I think I remember her.
adorable and fun, and really unlike the other characters, because Savage Dragon was living a more pedestrian kind of life in general. She felt more regular, but in a really good way.
I forgot about Alex too. She's a good choice. She's a good.
Yeah,
pick.
I really liked her, and she's a character who has stayed in Savage Dragon over the years. And whenever she shows up, I'm always just like, I love you. I would have dated her. I would have stayed with Alex. But the one that I really want to point to, besides a little honorable mention for Tulip from Preacher, who's maybe not the best girlfriend in the world, but I love her. I still love Tulip.
In her defense, Jesse wasn't the best boyfriend in the world either.
Exactly. So
You did a
like
good name,
more than
though,
couple,
you
They,
know.
it
they
was
were perfect for each other. They were a good couple.
But my real pick, and I would say in top 3 here, is Ellen Baker. Buddy Baker. It's really not just his wife, but his whole family.
I have an Ellen.
When you finish those Grant Morrison, the 3 trade paperbacks, of like what
I've
is
read
it,
those.
something issues. Oh my God, you have never left a comic feeling more like
I forgot about her too. That's another good pick.
viscerally connected to one of your fantasy characters' loved ones. She is
If you had removed, Jesse, I got to agree with you 100%. If you removed Ellen Baker from the Animal Man comics, especially
he froze.
I froze or Jesse froze. Who froze?
Oh, everybody froze.
Oh.
Everybody froze. It wasn't me. It was you guys. You all froze.
No, if you removed Ellen, you would have diminished those comics.
Oh yeah.
I got to agree with you. That was.
And it's not like she's not like necessarily a character that makes him better or a character that makes him really happy. She's a real force with his existence. He loves her. You know it. You understand why. She's not perfectly
They're
not
a regular married couple. They had regular married couple fights. They had fights raising their kids, but they were never that sitcom wife. Well, look at a load of this guy over here. Why don't you turn into a turtle and leave or something like that?
But it's really like you love her because of all the things that he goes through that she has to go through with him. And really, I won't spoil Grant Morrison's run, but by the time Grant Morrison's run ends, oh fuck! Like, I mean, you're just I cried my eyes out for like a few hours when I finished reading that Grant Morrison run of Animal Man.
Don't like Grant Morrison. They didn't read the Doom Patrol. They didn't read Animal Man. Those what got me to.
I did read Animal Man.
Oh, you did read Animal Man.
Yes, I was looking up Brian Boland covers for my interest collection. I ended up reading it.
Boland's my favorite. I
got a girl
for artwork.
I got a girl that is in the chat, but nobody mentioned yet. Cyborg's girlfriend Sarah. What do you think about her?
I don't remember her.
I need to get some more coffee. I'm going to get more coffee. I will be back in a minute.
Tony, did you read?
I want to say real quick on Animal Man's girlfriend before we just move on. That because she was handled so well and the whole family was handled so well, when Jeff Lemire and others, brought back Animal Man in the New 52, it was one of the hot books. And part of the reason why it was so hot was because the dynamic with the family was really strong. You gave a shit about them. And it was clear that those people had read the Grant Morrison books and brought that love for his family into that series. And it was really, granted a lot of stuff with his kids and stuff, but that relationship is important to that character in that book, and really he's definitely like an upper echelon one. I feel like in terms of like just the relationship mattering on some level.
I can't remember her last name, but the Marv Wolfman, George Perez Teen Titans run, which is to me should be up there with the Chris Claremont John Byrne X-Men run. Cyborg had a girlfriend named Sarah, and she was like a I forget if she worked with children. I forget if she was a social worker or a nursery school teacher, whatever. And she worked with disabled children. So Cyborg Victor Stone would always go there, and he became like friends with all of these kids. So it was like kids with prosthetic legs and prosthetic hands and whatever, and it was just sweet, and she was just cute. And to me, she was such a good girlfriend. She had like Alicia Masters, like because Victor Stone was DC's thing at the time.
Yeah, I like how you describe it.
Yeah, they were a really good couple. So I'll probably put her as number 2, and I think they went off the rails with her or just let her disappear. Like I don't know what happened. A lot of these girlfriends just kind of like disappeared.
I have a girlfriend we didn't talk about yet.
Oh, who?
Ellen Dolan, the Spirit's girlfriend.
Oh, Ellen Dolan. I love
Dolan. When you said Ellen, I remembered it. I was thinking the Spirit's girlfriend, and I had to remember her last name.
Marcus, tell us about Ellen.
Ellen was the Spirit's girlfriend, and she's another one of those 40s women who had a little fire to her. She wasn't always the damsel distress, and she's forgotten a little bit. And she was stood by him no matter what. If P-Gel was there, or Sans Serif, the villainesses, that were trying to dirty up the get into the Spirit's pants and make him evil. She was always there.
I never believed that the Spirit did the lovey-doveys with P-Gel. She was.
I don't think I
do believe, like, this is my own thoughts. I do believe him and Sans Serif because they were childhood friends.
That was from childhood.
Right.
But she stood by him, and she was not just like all the 40s. They wrote those tough women in the 40s. They weren't just. I mean, even if they had to be saved, they were trying to fight their way out. She was one of those characters.
And she would get in the Spirit's face, and and like, what's going on? But he, like, to me, after a while, there was like, oh, you're just gonna go run away and hang out with Ebony. Like after a while, like they needed to. It was just
Ebony, the whole other problem Will Eisner had. We're not talking about.
That's another sidekicks. We could do best sidekicks for.
Oh, Ebony. He had to talk about Ebony the rest of his career.
We'll talk about Ebony at another one.
Yeah,
Tony,
I only got to read. What's the character's name again?
The Spirit.
The Spirit. What's the lady? Is it
Ellen Dolan?
Yeah, I only got to read her in Darwin Cook's revival.
Yeah,
I'm a little.
And he drew her so cute in that.
Her beautiful.
Oh, he did a great Spirit. I had Will at the School of Visual Arts for 3 years, and I'm sure he would have been happy with Darwin Cook doing it.
Oh, dude,
Tony was just about to talk. Jesse,
super enjoyable. I've been meaning to read some of the classic Spirit because I love that his
They're really good.
So much. Yeah.
Tony was just about to talk. What were we gonna say, Tony?
Becca from New Gods. Anybody remember her?
Oh,
she was Orion's girlfriend. She rescued him from Darkseid a couple of times. She was
yes, I do remember her. Yes.
Yeah, she was there towards the tail end of the Jack Kirby run. I don't know if whatever happened to her, if anybody used her.
Oh, I don't know this character, but then again, I didn't read the Jack Kirby New Gods. I just started buying them, so I'll sit down and read them all now. But I don't know this character, so that's something to look forward to.
Be nice. The Jack Kirby New Gods is all over the place.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
and it's not. If you want, look up a reading order because it did not come out in the order it was meant to be read. So I don't know how you want it. It's just a warning.
Any thoughts on Carol Ferris?
Oh wow, that's another one.
She ended up getting powers pretty early on, though.
Yeah, Star Sapphire.
Yeah. I think she was annoying, though. She was like annoying to Hal.
Yeah, she became a Star Sapphire. What is going on? Why am I?
Carol Ferris doesn't excite me. She seems just like such a and his girlfriend. So and so.
With a lot of early Green Lanterns. It's weird.
Echo is back. Did somebody open up a YouTube window?
Not me.
No.
I'm going to remove myself.
I have one that I keep thinking of over and over again.
Hello?
I have one that I keep thinking of over and over again that I don't really remember actually so much of the relationship dynamic, but I remember I just enjoyed the hell out of it the whole time, which was Margot, who was the girlfriend for Rick Jones in the Genus Vell.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
And I think they were together from the Incredible Hulk series. So I think that relationship had started in the previous series and it carried over into the Captain Marvel run. But
Yes.
you know, it was drawn by Chris Cross, and he always would. She was so expressive. You know, Rick Jones would kind of drive her crazy, and she was like beautiful and really tall, and again a character that kind of challenged Rick's kind of lighthearted Spider-Man esque kind of personality. I liked her a lot, and I don't remember a lot of specifics from that series, of like why I liked their relationship so much, but I remember that one.
I'm gonna try muting myself.
Am I?
I'm gonna leave and come back, John.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab myself a charger because I'm about to die.
Hello.
Hey, John. Am I all right?
Leave and come back. See
Okay.
Because I left to come back. Hello. Okay, I'm not echoing, so it must have been somebody else. Is it still echoing? Well, everybody left. It looks like all the viewers left too. I guess the echoing was driving everybody crazy. Iceman's girlfriend before Opal. He had the Bebop girlfriend, right? The beatnik girlfriend with the beret and everything. Why can't I think of her name? Oh.
Okay.
I don't hear any echo, so I don't know what happened.
Okay.
We're good. I didn't touch anything, so I wonder if somebody opened up a window or something without realizing it.
Possibly.
Oh, I hear the echo.
Wait, is it me?
I think it's Jesse. You got to leave and come back. Let's see if it's you. Like, leave the whole studio and then come back. Click on the link again. Okay, there we go. Go ahead, Tony. Talk.
Oh, about what?
Oh, okay. I just wanted to see if there was an echo. All right.
Okay.
So it was Jesse. It was Jesse's girl.
Yeah, I like Shira. I like Shira Sanders, but they really screwed her up. Like, after the New 52, and now I don't know what DC could have done. It probably did to her, but I'd like to put her as my unofficial fourth of the three best.
Okay, well, like I said, she's a superhero in her own right.
Okay. All right.
I want to bring up this because I think two of the biggest ladies men in comics. Well, I guess three if you count Tony Stark. But I need to point out in the comic books. Oh, it is Jesse. You came back. The echo came back.
I didn't change anything.
Let me see if I can edit Mike. How's that? Talk.
Sounds okay to me.
Okay, I hit the echo cancellation tab, and now it sounds like we're good. All right. So in the comics, Iron Man, Tony Stark wasn't with Pepper Potts. Pepper Potts ended up marrying Happy Hogan.
Yes.
But I wanted to bring up this. We can't talk about this topic without addressing this. So let me get this on the screen. The Many Loves of Peter Parker. So let's see if I can make this any big. No, I cannot. But we have, starting in the top left, we have Liz Allen. Liz Allen, she was in the original movies. Then she was in the Tom Holland movies. She was the girl that her father was the Vulture, which is not the same as the comics. But Liz Allen ended up dating Flash Thompson. Betty Brant, who Marcus, you probably know better than me. Was Betty Brant supposed to be older than Peter?
She was Jay Jonah's secretary. She had to be older.
Right.
Peter, I think, was 16 when he became Spider-Man. And that means if she didn't go to college, she was at least 18.
And she was based on that first Steinberg.
They weren't specific, but if you go back and look at it, it's probably not the world's greatest.
Right. I always, in my mind, I always thought of her as older. So Betty Brant, secretary to J. Jonah Jameson.
She's older.
And then, of course, Gwen Stacy. She everybody knows Gwen Stacy. Then we got Sissy Ironwood, and I gotta say, I don't remember her in the
She's a Marvel Team Up girlfriend.
I don't know.
Really, I don't remember her in the slightest.
Only a couple. She was a Marvel Team Up girlfriend. Like they used to have like different girlfriends for different comics. Mary Jane was always in Amazings, and then they were kind of announced. They introduced Deborah Whitman and Peter Parker, Spectacular Spider-Man, but she wasn't really in Amazing all that much. And then Sissy Ironwood was in like Marvel Team Up. I'm not sure why they did that, by the way.
Right. And then, of course, laying down, being all sexy is Mary Jane Watson. We don't have to talk about her. Everybody knows about Mary Jane. And then Marcy Kane. I remember the name, but I forget when was she in the comics? When was Marcy Kane in the comics?
Marcy was never his girlfriend. She gave him a hard time in college.
Marcy,
Right.
I remember, but I don't remember.
They
Right.
fought a lot.
I remember the character, but I don't remember them ever dating. And then Deborah Whitman.
No,
I
he
don't know.
never dated Marcy Kane.
Deborah Whitman, I always liked, and I always felt bad for because she was like the poor woe is me, like I'm not good enough for Pete. Peter's perfect, and then she took Peter to a couple of punk rock shows, which of course won me over. And then Peter like when Peter stood up Mary Jane because the Green Goblin was gonna detonate a nuclear device, you know what I mean? And Peter had his priorities straight. Mary Jane was like, well, I'm gonna go out dancing. But when he did that to poor Debbie Whitman was just like, I guess nobody will ever marry me. And I felt bad for her. She's always like, of course he stood me up because look at me. Wouldn't you stand me up? And then she would walk home all boo boo. I just
didn't she figure out that he was he was Spider-Man, and then she thought she was insane?
I don't remember.
Wasn't that like the end of her? Like she went to the nut house. There was some cover with like Spider-Man all over her high.
Really? I got to check it out. And then Glory Grant.
Well, he never dated her.
Yeah, Glory Grant. They flirted for a while.
That was a DEI hire.
Yeah. Now they flirted for a while, and I don't know. I thought there was some chemistry between them, but I don't think they were ever official.
I remember her, but I don't remember her personality very much.
She was Jay Jonah's secretary after Betty Brant got married to Ned Leeds.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
And then, they didn't have a lot of black characters in it at that time. And, in the 80s, early 80s, late 70s, even then they were thinking about balancing out those.
And they couldn't just give her to Robbie Robertson because that would be like, oh, what's that, the black wing of the building?
Well, I have to say the Spider-Man strip was pretty forward on, and even Marvel itself having black characters of color, like background characters, police officers and stuff. Whereas DC didn't have any of that for years.
But how what are the odds of having a secretary named Betty Brant and then replacing her with Glory Grant? That's
well, that's why it's comics,
Right. But I love this that we're supposed to believe that Peter Parker is a loser, he's the everyman. But then look at this litany of like beautiful women, like, I don't know.
Oh,
he's like,
right. Yeah, no, that was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
He only began to get the girls when John Romita started drawing him.
Yeah.
Back when he was with Ditko, he was kind of ugly.
Right.
He knows a lot of things, but he didn't draw. There was only a few.
I ain't going steady with any of these girls until we get a new artist.
He was a lot of things. Women wasn't his best thing.
Yeah, all the women look like Jerry Stiller's father.
I want to
Well,
Parker's ugly, so he shouldn't have good-looking girlfriends idea that is sometimes perpetuated. There's other characters that people say the same thing about. Oh man, this regular guy. Like, listen, every relationship anybody has ever been in, there is a certain amount of gut feeling and like, I don't know, there's something about this guy, there's something about this girl. And I think it's perfectly reasonable when your main character is an altruist superhero who's secretly running around doing good deeds, that there might be some women or in his life that can sniff out that this man's a good man.
It's funny that you should say this,
that's
Jesse.
funny. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad thought.
I remember sitting around, this must have been like 5th grade or so, 6th grade or so. There, like, that's like that awkward age. So what are we, like a 12-year-old? You're interested in girls, but it's embarrassing to admit it kind of thing, and you're awkward. But we started to realize that Peter Parker, even if he was nerdy Peter Parker, by the time like the 70s rolled around, he must have been in good shape from, constant swinging around, and you know what I mean. Like, yes, of course, girls would like him, and then he's got this confidence because he's a superhero. So even though he was supposed to be like modeled off of Steve Ditko, a plain, normal-looking guy, once you get superpowers, that's like that je ne sais quoi that people are going to pick up. I mean, look at these women.
What we haven't talked about? You mentioned
for having the most choices.
We're not saying anything about Bethany Cabe, the main girlfriend of during the David Michelini, Bob Layton, John.
I forgot about her.
Talk about because she was a spy, right?
Was she?
She was like a secret agent. She could kick everybody's butt. An early girl boss, I think.
I don't remember. I remember the name, but I don't remember.
I remember her.
Jessica Rabbit.
Jessica
Rabbit. She was a great wife.
Oh, how about Karen Page is one of the worst girlfriends?
Oh yeah. What about a dead wife? If it's a motivating factor, I feel like Mr. Terrific's dead wife is sort of like an unsung hero of his origin story, and like he's motivated by
his dead wife. But that's funny.
She's a good lady. I'm trying to make the world a better place for her. Like he was inspired by his wife. Like,
yeah, I forgot that his wife died as part of his origin.
Yeah, he's an Olympian and an engineer, but like it all comes down to he lost his wife and he didn't know what to do with himself after that, so he dedicated himself to this. And there's something kind of cool about that.
That is kind of cool. I think you're right about that.
So good, like she was such an exceptional human that he went, well, if I can't be with her anymore, I'm gonna have to do something really exceptional to like replace that. And I don't know that I always felt there was some real romanticism in that origin story. Mr. Terrific's kind of a favorite character of mine from the JSA run, and that little simple kind of origin of this dead wife that he was dedicating, he was doing to being terrific, to being exceptional.
Yep.
I just thought that was really lovely.
I want to make a terrific movie after his appearance in Superman.
That costume's so fucking rad.
I love that costume. Yeah, absolutely.
They took him literally right out of the comics, and
no, that was one of the best ones. Yeah,
and they told that actor, "You play this as straight as possible. The only way to sell this, because it is a hard sell, that character, Mr. Terrific, fair play.
Yeah, but it's got to be written well.
Right, but that actor just sold it. That was
a great job.
Even like what that after that fight scene, my wife turns to me and goes, "Is this guy in the comics?" I was like, "Yeah, this is exactly what he's like in the comics."
Yeah, that's exactly what he does.
They did a really good job. I mean, even people that don't like the movie say that they did a good job with Mr. Terrific. I never would have thought of his wife because she was dead when they introduced the character. Yeah,
but there really does say something. I dedicated my superheroing, like there was no superheroing when she was alive. She died, and I went, I got to do something extra.
Hello, John. How you doing? It's just saying hello to people. I think this is one of the first times I've seen
John.
That.
Betty Ross.
I'm sorry?
Betty Ross.
Oh, yeah.
She's ultimately the best and the worst.
I've thought of her multiple times. I don't
at
think
the same time.
Great. I mean, she is going up against her father to be with the man. My dad hates you. I mean, so does Lois Lane's dad.
Lana Lang.
I want to say something about Betty. No, let's before we lose. I want to say Betty Ross. I'm reading those early Hulks. I just got
those 70s Hulks. Yeah.
I'm reading the 70s Hulk, so I just got past the first appearance of Doc Samson, so I'm around Hulk 150 to say. And Betty Ross is, as of then, I know the character develops now later, but as of then, she's a nobody. She's just a carrot on the stick to move the Hulk. She has no personality, like just like why can't I think of the character's name? Thor's girlfriend,
Jane Foster.
Jane Foster had no personality until like the 80s. I as much as I love Stan and Jack, a lot of the women were just one-dimensional characters at first.
Well, it's just so many of them are. They're not exactly normal people that are like the more interesting characters and relationships, like Crystal, who can be a little bit cardboard. She has made, Johnny more interesting, Quicksilver more interesting.
Yeah, but she's a bad girlfriend.
Yeah, no, she is.
She's a
bad girlfriend. That's right.
And she's an even worse wife. Guys, look up the history of Crystal.
Yeah.
Deja Thoris and Jane Porter. Deja Thoris is a really good.
I don't know if you could call her
I
non-superpower.
was about to say though, but
Mars, for God's sake.
she's a super character in her own right.
Deja Thoris is the hottest woman I've ever seen on screen in that John Carter movie.
You know, Jesse.
Yeah, I know.
I love that woman. That woman was
God.
perfectly cast for that, and a lot of people. First off, I thought the movie was pretty good.
She looks so cool.
Yeah, I thought she was perfectly classed, because they could have taken a classical, stunning knockout, but instead they took somebody with like a smoldering exotic beauty.
She was really exotic. Yeah, but you know what? Exotic, but like subtly exotic, not even necessarily. But voluptuous, you know, curvaceous and but strong. You know, she was a real knockout. That girl.
But she wasn't a normie. Jane Porter is a normie. Did anybody read Tarzan, the first book?
Yes, I read them all.
I knew you did. Yeah. Tell us about Jane. Tell us a little bit about Jane there.
In the first novel, she's adopted as a child by the Clayton family. Jane Porter comes from America. He loses Lord Greystoke. What's his name? What's Tarzan's first name? I forgot. Well, they lose contact with each other after his parents die in Africa. So when he goes back to England, they reconnect. She's very loyal. Well, it's weird, right? Because she's betrothed to Tarzan's. I think it's his cousin, I believe.
He's the next in line to inherit everything.
Yeah. So it's the first book. It's sort of like a love triangle. It's the best book out of the series, in my opinion.
I gotta read it again.
Yeah. Go ahead, John.
I was gonna say the first Tarzan novel is a page turner. It's
wonderfully written. It's great.
The second book is a spy novel. It's a spy.
Yeah, but by like the 7th or the 8th book, she becomes immortal. She has a son with Tarzan, Korak, and it's sort of
That's the third novel. Did you say that's the third novel?
No, I think that's like the 7th novel or 8th novel. Yeah, there's like 20 of them.
Jesse's got to go. He's a daddy. He's got kids. So let's
babies over here. I told them I'd do this for a half an hour or so.
Okay.
My little girl.
Jesse, you got a Kickstarter project right now.
Yeah, I
do. I didn't know that. You have to tell me this Kickstarter. I can't drop the link if you don't tell me.
I don't know if people know, but mainstream music is made in 440 hertz frequency, and that number is literally rumored to be Hitler's propaganda man's number for controlling people's minds. And around this time was when the changeover from like a standardized tuning to 440, and numerically 440 is not a particularly interesting number. 432, however, is one of the harmonic tones of nature, and it really, when you listen to things in 432, it relaxes you, brings you into a coherent vibration. And there's a number of frequencies that work like this, the solfeggio scale and other scales that actually like calm you down, chill you out. And tomorrow we could change all music, and every single time you got in the elevator, every single time you put on the radio, every single time you heard some music playing from somebody else's car, you could be calming down. You could be feeling better. You could be coming into more coherence. But unfortunately, our standardized choice in the tuning is 440, and it's not a particularly coherent vibe. I'm really trying to promote the advocacy of frequency in music and how incredible it is for us, how easy it is to make this change worldwide for all music and start to improve all of our, anxiety and depression and all these things. If we were surrounded, living in a world with healing music 24/7, I believe that life would be better. So, this campaign is just all about raising money for that. The sheer concept. When I released this album 3 months ago or 6 months ago, I realized that people didn't understand what I had made. And this Kickstarter came about not because I wanted to make some money off the album or whatever, but I want to put value into this thing. Healing frequencies, you can go around the country, around the world, and get sound healing. every single one of these songs is tuned to the sound healing frequencies that people would use. You don't need to go get sound healing if you're listening to sound healing all the time. But most of the time when you go to find stuff like this, it's all chanting and like weird noises and stuff. And I just wanted to make something that we could all enjoy and demonstrate that pop music, rock music, rap, all sorts of mainstream music can be tuned and become weaponized in the opposite way as a healing thing, as a thing to relax anxiety and cure depression and help people grow themselves. So, that's what this campaign is all about.
So what exactly is it? It's an album?
Yeah, so it's a limited edition. We're only doing 1,000 copies of this gold flame version, and there's some other limited things in there. I'm doing some handwriting lyric sheets for the 11 songs that we did. Like I think 3 of them are already sold. But like once they're gone, they're gone. I'm only doing 11 of them. I'm going to handwrite the lyrics and
what type of music is it? Rock and roll?
It's pop, rock, soul. It's really a range. It's hard hitting pop music, but it's really something that everybody can appreciate. I was raised by Dee Snider from Twisted Sister. My dad's a brilliant songwriter, but I don't really like super heavy music. I don't like anything that I might put on that my grandma would be like, turn that off. I want everybody to be able to listen and go, oh yeah, that's a great song. I appreciate that. So I write in the same way I write comics. I try to write in a really universal voice, not for me, but like for everybody, so that we can all be enjoying the same experience together and bond over it, So it's very, very mainstream. I really don't think that there's anybody out there who's going to hear any of the songs on it and go, that's not for me. They're just catchy, fun, spiritually motivated songs. And all of the lyrics and the melodies that I chose.
Can we listen to snippets on it when we go there?
Yeah, you can listen to the entire record. I mean, it's playing in the background for the interviews that we did. There's a little interview video, and there's an intro video, and you can hear all the clips in the background. But it's free. You can go anywhere, iTunes, Spotify, whatever. Listen to it right now.
What's the name of the band?
Promote it. It's Jesse Blaze. If you ever want to listen to any of my music, Jesse Blaze will get you to everything. These tracks, I used AI as my background band. So I worked with the AI on my songs that I had written years and years and years ago. I was playing with it so I could make some songs for my kids that I've written for them and been singing for them. And all of a sudden I got into doing all the healing frequencies. And I was listening to my own stuff, getting high on my own supply for like 3 months. And then I started to go, I should figure out some way to make this available to people. I should put this into an album, turn it into an album and release it. But when I did, everybody just kind of went, great, another great one, Jess, pat on the back, and that was it, moving on. And I just kind of went, no, wait a second, I did something really cool here. This is, these are healing frequencies. This is a lot of value packed into this music. You don't even have to like the music for the vibrations to be able to work on you. So it's really just a passion project for me. And I'm so glad that it's out and just being able to talk about it, because it's just all music should be like this. And the fact that it's not is weird. This is stupid. We realized there was a better way to do music and we haven't just made an adjustment for all time. No, we haven't. So,
okay, cool. So good. I'll put up your link. This is on Kickstarter right now. It's if you buy this, it's a DVD.
It's a CD.
A CD, DVD.
But it's a special edition CD. I just got this note from my daughter. It says, "Can we play a game when you're done?" Smiley face.
Play with your kids.
She just walked in and slid this to me. Here you go, Dad.
You can't argue with that. So
can we play a game? Yes, we can play a game when I
did not. So I wanted to go back to the eternal Spider-Man question. So out of there was other Spider-Man girlfriends that were not in that graphic. We'll start with you, Tony, because you didn't get really a chance to talk too much.
No, I like to listen to. It's fine.
Who do you think is the best for Spider-Man?
I like Betty Brant. That was my thing. She seemed like she liked Peter for what he was from the beginning. But there was that weird age difference there. So unfortunately it didn't go anywhere. I really liked Deborah Whitman. I thought that she didn't get she was shortchanged. Right. The other two were like thoughts. Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy. They were just I didn't really like them, but I thought Deborah was good. I liked her.
Marcus, who you like Gwen Stacy the best?
I like Gwen Stacy because I'm just used to it. You know, they didn't want to marry them off at that time. And so, like, Mary Jane through the 70s wasn't really his girlfriend. She wasn't even his girlfriend in the beginning of the 80s. It was like the mid 80s.
She
Like,
dated.
she was always in and out of the comic, but she wasn't always his girlfriend.
Right. She was
And
dating.
he proposed to her, and then she said no. And they wrote her out for a time.
Right.
That's when the Deb Whitmans came in and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Poor
Poor Debbie. She was the rebound girl to boot.
She was. So
She
I think
was better.
because I just remember her that way. But you know, what's really the difference?
And Debbie Whitman, she's probably in one of my she's the girlfriend in one of my favorite Spider-Man comics of all time. Was the annual with when Spider-Man's on the gem with Doctor Strange.
Oh, that one. Yeah, that's the one by Frank Miller and Denny O'Neil.
Yeah, so I love.
Yeah, that's like that.
Yeah,
that was that callback to that Ditko one from Annual 2, I think.
So, Jesse, do you have a favorite girl for Spider-Man?
I mean, I'm kind of with Tony on. I always kind of liked Betty Brant for him. I think there was just something. Something different about, you know, he was going to the Daily Bugle to work. He was having to bump heads with J. Jonah Jameson, and he was in a professional setting, and she was seeing him in this professional setting and attracted to him within that setting. Like, so there was something about that felt kind of earned for Peter, for me. You know, because like Gwen and Mary, it's like, why do these ladies like him so much? You know, like there is a bit of a question there of like, well, they just do, you know, and that's okay. They just do. But Betty kind of like felt like, you know, he'd actually wooed her to some degree. It was over time he was winning her over, and she was like,
she saw a guy in hard circumstances, overcoming his hard circumstances, working hard.
Yes,
like she saw like a man like a value. You know what I mean? Like not to be like a gold digger, like but she saw like look at this poor kid.
Look what he's willing to
do. You said something interesting.
So I can see that. I never thought of that, but you're right.
You said something interesting. You said a man. So at that time when the Ditko issues, he would go back to school and he's treated like just some loser teenager. He's the smart brainiac, and you know, these days you look up to that, but back then, like, he wasn't the jock, and he would go deliver these photos, and everybody treated him, and she treated him like an adult.
Right.
He went to an adult setting, which is why it confuses everybody about the age, right? How old was he?
Right.
And how old were she?
Think about this. He was bringing in action shots. And then later on, she marries Ned Leeds, who's an action. So she saw him as
an action reporter. Yeah,
that's dangerous. He's living. He's living the dangerous life.
Peter had to grow up fast. He was the one that was the head of the household. Now he didn't have a childhood. If you look at it,
she knew
no childhood.
Yeah, she knew about his Aunt May. He's taking care of his aunt.
Exactly.
You know, like, these are a very attractive thing in that context. So, like, for me as a fan of Peter's, you know, when I would see that dynamic, I would go, "Ooh, that feels good." You know, like that feels like she's going to respect him.
Now that makes me think: did Betty Brant come from like hardships? You know, like she didn't go to college.
I don't know. I don't remember a story about her history. Do you?
No, she married Ned Leeds, and then he was killed.
The Hobgoblin. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
And I kind of lost track of all of these.
So before I go, though, I just want to say too, I like Gwen. You know, granted, it's such a revisionist history with her, and I know, like, you know, real fans will tell you, like, she was pretty wooden, you know, back when she
was beautiful. I mean, John Romita drew her so beautifully, you know.
Well, she was beautiful. You know, she's just such an archetype. And I think after the fact, whether it's through, and granted, very different character, the Ultimate Spider-Man Gwen Stacy, and there are a lot of different Gwen Stacys that would kind of show up here, there, in like flashbacks, where they were able to give her some more depth. And I always liked her and just went, oh, that so sucks that she's gone now. But I think so much of that stuff was written with the writer going, the more I make her awesome, the more you're going to be like, man, it sucks she's gone now. So when that like is set up like that, I think it creates a little bit of a vacuum. But what was not created in a vacuum was the amazing Spider-Man portrayal in the two films by what's her name, Easy A chick. She's a great actress, and I loved her portrayal of Gwen Stacy. I love those two movies. Even though the villains sucked, which was really like the main thing that I think why people rejected those films. Andrew Garfield is an amazing Peter, and
I liked Andrew Garfield, and my hill to stand. I can't stand Emma Stone. Oh my!
You couldn't stand Emma Stone? Oh, I love her. My whole family loves her. I
would digitally remove her from every movie that she's in, and
yeah.
Would only be in
I really like her. For me, I really like she completed the Gwen Stacy package for me and made me feel like I had felt in the comics when she was long dead, but when they would talk about her or bring her back for a second, you'd go, "Oh man."
I liked Bryce Howard as Gwen Stacy. I thought she
was good. Yeah.
I didn't like her because she was superficial. She was doing a photo shoot. They made Mary Jane into Gwen Stacy, and then they
I agree with that. I agree with that.
You know, like the idea about Mary Jane was she was a bombshell, a girl that was out of his league. The idea about Gwen Stacy was she was somebody who was kind of in his league, but she was nerdy too and wasn't exactly being noticed the way and appreciated the way she should, but Peter did, you know. And like those two dynamics were really big. So when you take the one character, it's kind of like what they've done with Barry Allen recently. You know, Barry Allen, doesn't have a personality. He's like one half Superman, one half Batman. So they're like, let's make him a little bit like Wally West, except it doesn't really make sense for his character because he's kind of serious. He's a detective, you know, in a homicide thing, and like his mom was killed. He's a serious character. Wally West was not a serious character. He was a legacy character. He loved what he did. He was grateful. He was happy to be there. It made sense for him to be quipping and doing all this shit. So now Barry, it's just like he's taken on this other personality that he doesn't make any sense for him. And I think that Gwen as like the bombshell doesn't make, I mean, it does. There's blonde bombshells, but really the archetype from the comics is just like the girl next door who nobody appreciates, but Peter does, or the girl that everybody can appreciate. And just that choice alone was like, I thought that was part of the fun. It was like, oh, I could have this, I could have dessert, or I could have a warm cooked meal.
Mary Jane in the 60s was Harry Osborn's girlfriend. And then she was not, and she was really flighty. Harry had a lot of trouble with her. And then Harry OD'd after she like broke up with him in those comims.
So I'm just gonna go because Jesse's gonna go. So we'll just go around. Who? So just
shout out with you guys.
We'll start with Jesse since you got to go. So you Betty Brant is your favorite Spider-Man girlfriend?
Yeah, I'm not. Yes.
Okay, yes. Marcus, yours
I'm
is.
I'm gonna say Gwen Stacy.
And Tony, yours is
Betty Brant / Deborah Whitman.
Okay, so and I'm Deborah. So Deborah Whitman wins by 1.5. But we got to go on to the next one, which is Batman.
Okay, sounds good.
I say all time. I think we already got it. Alicia Masters is probably number 1 with a bullet, and maybe number 2 or 3 has got to be Ellen Baker because, like, that's.
I forgot about Ellen Baker. But
okay, I accept those. I'm accepting that.
You guys, and thank you anybody who goes to check out the campaign. I really appreciate
nice seeing you.
Good to see you.
For those of you who don't know, John, obviously, I write comics. I've worked for Marvel. I've worked for DC. Yeah. I make comics and I make music. This is what I do. So I go back and forth, and either I'm talking to people about comics, and they're like, "We don't read comics," or I'm talking to people about music, and they're like, "We like comics." You know, but it's all right. That's what I like. I like those two things. So thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
And if you're nearby me, I'm working nights. If you want to go for lunch one of these days,
absolutely. I'm here for like another week at least. So
give me a call. Give me a call. We'll go for lunch.
See you later, guys. Be
so
good.
I was looking for a good image of just all of Batman's girlfriends, and there aren't any. And when I say Batman's girlfriends, I keep getting pictures of Batgirl and Catwoman stuff like. I'm trying to get.
You mean like Julie Madison? His
Cloud and Vicky Vale and all of those. You know what I mean? Like nobody. If they were, they're not considered. And I just got to say, looks like Joe Sontag's audience is rating. Welcome. Hey, Joe Sontag's a great guy. Reaper Destroyer is a good comic. Beautiful art. So, Joe, how you doing? If you want to pop in, and I'll throw the link in here to.
Joe is a really good guy. He was on the studio. He was a terrific guy.
He was almost the voice of the patriarch, but then I decided not to do an original trailer with animation. It was just too much money.
So there's a thing I wanted to say about Vicky Vale and Silver St. Cloud. Steve Englehart contends that the Vicky Vale in the Batman '89 movie was supposed to be Silver St. Cloud, and the last second they changed it to Vicky Vale so they wouldn't have to pay.
I heard that.
Any money and Marshall Rogers any money.
I heard that
because her personality is way closer. Like Vicky Vale was just like Batman's Lois Lane. She wasn't that creative, but Silver St. Cloud was more like the Kim Basinger character.
I didn't know that. That's pretty.
Yeah. That's why you have me on, John. Really,
one just popped into my head. I mean, this is weird. The Harlequin, Molly Main. Does anybody remember
the original Harlequin? Yeah,
the original one. Yeah, that was another good one. Back when Alan Scott was straight.
Yeah, that was Alan Scott's wife.
Exactly.
He was one of the few superheroes that were married.
Yeah,
and the Flash, Joan, whatever the heck her last name.
Garrett.
Yeah, thank you.
Joan. They were a good couple. Yeah, Steve. What about? So, does anybody like? To me, Batman's normal girlfriends, I can't really distinguish the.
Does he have girlfriends anymore? I mean, is he too intense for them?
Well, now he has I don't know,
I don't read it.
He has a baby mama.
Well, I got that, The Son of the Demon, and it was a great comic. I'm not so crazy about him having a baby mama, but
I like the way Damian Wayne came to fruition as written by Mike W. Barr when it was the result of rape. That Grant Morrison rewrote her. That I didn't like.
That's not good.
That was really in bad taste, I thought.
Yeah.
For me,
that came out when I was in college. That Jerry Bingham.
Jerry Bingham. I loved it, right? No, for me, Batman's opposite number. It's got to be Catwoman. It was created by Bill Finger, and Bob Kane. From the beginning, she was made for him. Whatever she is,
in the '60s,
how badly she was written by. She is who I always thought Batman would wind up with in one way, shape, or form. Because Talia al Ghul is too much of a daddy's girl. And he's just too his life. He cannot have people like Silver St. Cloud or Vicky Vale or Julie Madison because he's action oriented. He's just 1 minute he's here, 1 minute he's there. He's fighting Solomon Grundy. He's fighting the Joker. He needs somebody that could complement him, and the Catwoman can complement him. So that's for Batman. That's who my one and only pick would be her.
Marcus, what about you? Who do you think is the best for Batman?
Well, Catwoman. They always did that since the '40s. They had an attraction. It wasn't like that. Wasn't no matter what.
Yeah, that '40s.
You're always right about Catwoman. I mean, it was an original part of her character. But a normal girlfriend, like that, not a superhero or supervillain, I would say Silver St. Cloud.
Okay.
I mean, he's had other girlfriends after Bruce Wayne had girlfriends, but that was the one he figured out he was Batman just like a girlfriend would figure out. Eventually, hey, this guy's Batman. He smells the same,
Yeah. My controversial opinion is I don't think Batman should ever have a long-term girlfriend.
Well, he never really did, so there's that. Yeah.
I think Batman works best as not love him and leave him, but he's only human. He meets a girl, he gets attracted, and then he's like, I got to move on. I don't
think that's controversial at all. I think there's a lot of people. I think that's a legitimate feeling about Batman. Yes.
So I'm trying to think. Are there any that we forgot? Any that we didn't bring up?
The original Batwoman, Kathy Kane, again back when she was straight.
Did she have a boyfriend?
That's like every. We didn't talk about Steve Trevor.
Oh yeah, let's.
Let's Steve Trevor.
You said boy, and he's a hero. Like he's a military hero.
But,
You know.
He is another character that just they keep changing who he is. He's either
Well, Wonder Woman.
Because they want to make Wonder Woman into a lesbian, and that's sort of the
Well, that's true.
impediment of that.
Wonder Woman 2 was after Moulton stopped writing Wonder Woman. The original, they wrote it through the 50s. Moulton and then H.T. Peter, and after that was gone, it was like Bob Kanigher, Ross Andrew, and Mike Esposito, and basically it was a superpowered romance story, and with like goofy villains. And you look at the artwork, it's really nice artwork, but not a whole lot happened. We're talking for like 8 years.
No, he wrote her for 20.
Justice League, and who knew Trevor? Oh, Steve Trevor was her boyfriend. I mean, it was not really a defined comic. It's like reading those Hulks you're reading now. What did the Hulk do throughout the 70s? He fought monsters every issue, a different monster. The Havoc Polaris was pretty good. They shoot Hulks, don't they, as a watershed. But other than that, what did he do, right? And there's a bunch of comics. Iron Man's a little like that too. So what did Wonder Woman do until they took away her powers? Like, be Wonder Woman. That's it. So what is Steve Trevor? They're always trying to make Wonder Woman more interesting. And so Steve Trevor kind of falls by the wayside.
right. He was the attentive boyfriend for a long time. And then the George Perez years, he was a lot older.
Yeah, and
They made her hook up with Etta Candy, remember?
Right. Yeah, they aged her. Yeah,
And that left Wonder Woman free for.
But she didn't have a boyfriend during the Perez years, did she?
She I think, if I remember correctly, like she was interested, but nothing really worked out.
I got it, and when George stopped drawing it, I kind of stopped buying it. So after that, and then there's the Deodato ones where she lost being Wonder Woman. I don't remember. Like William Messner Loeb, she probably had a boyfriend when she worked in a diner and stuff. But I didn't read those, so I don't know.
I remember she had a Rasta guy boyfriend during the Eric Luke run.
That's a little. Yes, I do remember. That's a little weird.
I want to say this: Batgirl's I don't like that. Batgirl to me works best when she's like a daughter figure for Batman.
I agree. Paul
when Robin and Batgirl going early in the early 70s.
Yeah. The obese sidekick girl from the old creep me out, Etta Candy. Yeah, she's
Etta Candy. Well, if you read some really World War II 40s and 50s Wonder Womans, they are kind of weird.
Well, they're very weird.
Black Hat Cinephile says, "How does an all-female society procreate?" Well, that's just it. The original Amazons, or at least they were mortal. They just, they went there and
right. That's right.
Violence, so they don't breed. Which is why when they found, the baby Wonder Woman and then later on Wonder Girl, they all were like, "Oh my God, a baby!"
Wonder Woman was made out of clay,
right? And then they retconned it to that she was the daughter of Zeus, but I don't know.
Wonder Woman never sold. They talk about the trio, like this is the Trinity.
Exactly.
Wonder Woman never sold.
Exactly.
And it never sold, and ever. Even with George Perez, it sold better, or Aaron Lopresti, they had some great Wonder Woman artists and writers. It sold better, but it never really sold. But DC had to publish Wonder Woman monthly, or they would lose the license to the Moulton estate.
Exactly.
So when they ended Crisis, that's why that 4-month Trina Robbins cartoony-ish Wonder Woman.
That was weird. Yeah, that one
was ready. Perez and whoever, Greg Potter, I think, did the new Wonder Woman. They always had to have a Wonder Woman, or they were going to lose the trademark. And I don't know if that's still the case. That guy created the lie detector. Right. He lived in Rye, New York, in a throuple in the 30s and 40s.
And his wife, his second wife's aunt is Margaret Sanger, the creator of Planned Parenthood.
That's right.
There you go.
And the
believer of eugenics. Yeah.
So Wonder Woman has like a complicated history of that, like a more exciting history than the actual character. Not that she's a bad character. I think she's a fine character, but who can handle
the problem I always had with
superhero characters? Very difficult.
The problem I always had with her is outside of Ares, her rogues gallery sucks.
Well,
I
this
mean,
Cheetah, they made
it
her.
really does. It's like a midget, Dr. Poison.
Silver Swan.
Yeah, the Silver Swan, the Cheetah. That's it. I mean, I'm having the. I forgot the midget's name. What was his name?
Giant racist mountain.
Yeah, yeah,
Egg Poo.
yeah. I mean, it really stinks. Marston was more interested in like showing off his beliefs in certain things and trying
Yeah,
than
yeah. The
actually
bondage.
writing good stories. You know,
He's always in bondage.
yeah, and
Yeah, he's
lesbianism and all.
See what made Wonder Woman, what made them Wonder Woman was on the cover of Ms. Magazine. Gloria Steinem put Wonder Woman on the cover of Ms. Number One, and that brought her back. Like that's when Marvel, when they were doing the Mike Sikowski, Wonder Woman was in the jumper and she was doing karate and she had no powers. All of a sudden, Gloria Steinem puts Wonder Woman on the cover of Ms. Magazine, and DC's got to bring her back. Like, I remember that because my mother got Ms. Magazine, and we had a big Wonder Woman hardcover when I was a kid for some reason. So I read a lot of those. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a Wonder Woman tangent.
The funny thing about Wonder Woman is Denny O'Neil wrote those.
Yeah.
When she lost her powers, and all the feminists, like, you took the most powerful female superhero and you made her powerless. You know, and Denny O'Neil like is like, yeah, I kind of goofed up. I always thought it was funny, but this to me, I'm getting this image. This makes me laugh. This has nothing to do with the topic, but it still makes me laugh. So this is the first issue of the Powerless.
Wow, that's a beautiful drawing.
So it's Denny O'Neil writing it. They take away Wonder Woman's powers, and right on the top it says special women's lib issue. And right in the front is this bondage queen, boobs heaving. You know what I mean?
That's a fantastic drawing, Dick Giordano, I think.
You know what I mean? I just like talk about mixed messaging here, right? Yeah.
She was always about that. I mean, that's what she was. You know, she was bondage girl.
That's a fantastic cover, though.
It is.
But
the wall jumping, what's going on? And you know, she doesn't have any powers, so I just get a kick out of the all women's lib issue, and it's just like bondage.
Well, there was that issue where Lois Lane became black. Do you remember? You see that issue? Imagine if you're the artist doing that thing. You're like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Yep.
But I did like Steve Trevor when he was like the reverse Lois Lane. Does anybody here remember Little Abner?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure.
That was like the Ellie Mae little Abner kind of relationship. Remember, Ellie Mae was really beautiful, but she was really strong, and she was always like princess carrying little Abner and stuff like that. And that's sort of what that was. I thought it was cute. I liked it. It was one of the few things I found charming about her. But again, Steve Trevor was never really written well. And they just sort of pushed him to the side, like Marcus said. They didn't know what the hell to do with him. You know, they just sort of put him in.
In my opinion, was written with less character development than these women characters, like who was I even talking about like earlier? Like they were just blanks. Like Steve Trevor had about as much personality as early Jane Foster. He was just a good-looking military guy, and that was it.
DC in general at that time, their comics weren't really about the characters; they were about the plots and the fake pony, like the Green Lantern science and so all the women, even the characters are kind of like ciphers. Where it's like Green Lantern he's Green Lantern. Why did he become evil? Well, because he's a DC character. They're always good. Like Captain America's like that, right? But most of the Marvel characters are like, what am I going to do with these powers? I'm going to try, like even Spider-Man, he tries to profit off of them before he becomes a hero, which is more like what we would do probably, other than people who didn't read comics, let's say. But, so that was the biggest difference. And so it wasn't always about, that's why you could say Green Lantern and you swap them with Flash and they're like the same guy.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Doesn't mean they're awful comics. They're fun comics, but that's just different. And the Marvel comics with John Ruffer all had personality from the minute they did Fantastic Four. Those are 4 separate personalities.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm still reading the old Justice Leagues, and I think I'm like up to 17 or so, and you could swap out the costumes. It doesn't matter. You know, they have no personalities. They're all the same.
They're fun comics.
I'm not saying they're bad comics. They're fun.
Right? No, but it's just that's the difference.
Zach Dan says the feminists always had mixed messages. They can't decide if they should be desired or not, or what is a woman. Yeah, like I remember, like when it comes to all this progressive stuff. Do you remember when they were like just going nuts, canceling people left or right, and then somebody brought up we should cancel Lou Reed because he has that song about. I don't even know what the good term is anymore, but it was trans. You know the.
I remember that song. Yeah, sure.
And they literally had a debate. What should we think? What should we like? These people were so afraid to come up with an individual decision about whether or not Lou Reed is an ally or not. And then finally, somebody was just like, "Dude, leave Lou Reed alone." You know what I mean? Like Lou Reed's a good. You know, I like Lou Reed. He's probably a progressive. I don't know. As far as
I don't know if he's still alive. But
he's
dead.
People are progressive.
He married Laurie Anderson and then died, which is probably he took the better part of valor. But she, you know, like they had to come to consensus. So, like, as much as I like Denny O'Neil, I think Denny O'Neil was a fabulous editor, but his writing was all over the place because I think that's the problem with progressive is they're afraid they need group consensus. So, like, oh, we're going to make a feminist Wonder Woman. Oh, okay. So a feminist, she has to be regular and blah, 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 down to earth. And then Gloria Steinem is just like, no, she's super powerful in it. Oh, we got to change what. Pick a stance, ladies and gentlemen.
It's more feminist for her to be unpowered and beat the crap out of people with judo than it is to be almost as powerful as Superman.
Really? I mean, who's less masculine, Batman or Superman? You know what I mean?
That's true.
But again, her power level was all over the place. That's one of the main things that always bugged me about the character. There was no consistency there. She was strong. She was strong since 1940, but no one ever told me how strong she was.
No, that's true. You know, they did that to Spider-Man too. And they're only as strong as they need to be. Why would Spider-Man ever have trouble with the Kingpin?
Yeah, exactly.
You can't lift 10 tons. And then when they finally, John might remember this. You remember that Roger Stern and took over with John Romita, and they had that one where he put the underarm back in, and Peter looked kind of buff, like, oh, he's been working out because that's what he did. And they decided he was strong, and he fought like the scorpion, or was it the tarantula? He goes, I can't believe I lost to you. I must have had a cold that day. Beat the crap out of him with 2 punches. And then he started fighting people like the Juggernaut and Firelord because regular superheroes, he really was strong and powerful. But throughout the 70s, he got beat up by rocket racers.
But it was explained, I don't know who did it, that it was all psychosomatic. Remember, like he had like an inferiority complex.
Yeah, I remember that.
I don't know who did it, what writer that was, but that explained that. But for Wonder Woman, there really was no explanation. She was strong enough to juggle an elephant in the 40s, and now she's like equal with Superman. And I don't really remember her power.
Submariner lost all his powers, and then all of a sudden got him back.
Yeah, but remember that fluctuates by how dry he is. Remember, if you
but he lost everything. Like the Submariner was published forever, and then there was a whole bunch of things where he would get knocked out by a gun to the back of the head, and they lost all his powers. And then Bill Everett took him over. He goes, "Wait, I got my powers back." One episode, I was reading all these Bill Everett comics, and I got my powers back. But they spent a whole ton of time with no powers at all. They do it all the time.
She wasn't consistent. Like she was super strong. Like. Now she's bulletproof, so what's the point of the bracelets?
Exactly. Sometimes she had an invisible jet. Now she can fly on her own. It don't make any sense. No,
she used to just glide, so she needed the invisible jet now.
Exactly.
She could communicate telepathically with animals, but now people.
And remember, John, she used to do the Captain America thing with the tiara. Remember? Yeah.
It does. It boils down to how many midichlorians does Wonder Woman have. You're absolutely right, Sheldon. You're absolutely right.
But you were right, John. You were right about Denny O'Neil. Like with Batman, he was perfect. With the Question, he really shit the bed.
He shouldn't have
hated the Question run. I hated it. It was just so left-leaning and obnoxious. And the way he wrote Green Lantern, Green Arrow. I hated Green Lantern, Green Arrow. God, beautiful art. Hated.
Never liked Green Arrow. I mean, he never liked Green Lantern. He liked Green Arrow.
He's the one that ruined Green Arrow. He's the one who put Green Arrow as like this milquetoast 40s and 50s and 60s crime fighter, and he turned him to a goatee wearing liberal, and a really obnoxious one at that. He's the reason why. That's why I loved what Mike Grell did with him in the 80s with Last of the Longbow Hunters. He cut
I remember that. Yeah,
and made him into a crime fighter, a proper one.
Well, he made him into the Punisher. He was shooting people with hunting arrows.
I remember, but he wasn't killing anybody. He was just maiming them.
And they didn't even do the whole run that Grell wrote. They didn't call him Green Arrow to the end. He was just Oliver Ollie.
Yeah,
he never got in. It was all this spy stuff, and he never got into costume almost ever.
He did have a costume, a really good one. Remember, he had he didn't wear.
Yeah, no, it was a good costume.
Yeah, he looked like Robin Hood. Yeah.
What about his girlfriends?
Dinah Lance.
Yeah, but she had superpowers. So.
Yeah, she did. No. There's two of them. There's the Robert Kanigher one from the 40s, and then when they brought her back into the Silver Age, they changed it to be her own daughter, and that's where they gave her the sonic scream powers. But the original one from the 40s was completely different character.
That was a really confused.
Well, that was the original Green Arrow too. They made the Golden Age Green Arrow, and then
they convoluted everything with that Earth 1, Earth 2 crap. They really did.
When it was Earth 1, Earth 2, they said that nobody couldn't understand it, but I had no problem with that. I like that.
And now, ironically, everybody and their grandmother understands the multiverse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, now it's everywhere. Every movie's a multiverse. Yeah, it makes no sense.
I had something I want to say, and I can't remember now. Oh, geez.
Sorry.
It's okay. Geez. Yeah, I forget.
Betty
when you Denny O'Neil writing the question.
I hated that.
First off, the question was an Ayn Randian right-wing based character, and then Denny O'Neil took him over, and he admitted he didn't understand right-wing characters. So he for those of you who didn't read the series, in the first issue, he gets shot in the head, and the bullet just travels around, and it's the most unlikely thing. And he took it as he was born again. He changed his politics. He becomes left-wing, questions everything. He's ineffectual, and it always makes me laugh every time I think of it. The very last issue of Denny.
I remember this. Yes.
He gets into a car, gives up, says, "I can't win," and leaves.
While Hub City burns to the ground.
Hub City is literally on fire, and the progressive hero just leaves. The city burns. It's like, good job, Denny.
I have so much respect for Denny O'Neil as a Batman editor. I don't like him as a writer on anything else.
That's what I said. He's a much better editor. Under him, I thought Batman achieved some of its best. Like, for those of you who don't know, that was the Chuck Dixon.
But even when he wrote Batman really well too. I mean, that was his best writing, right?
Batman, yeah.
Ra's al Ghul, you know.
Ra's al Ghul was and I'll say this, it's a shame that everyone's dead. I can't ask them, but to my dying day, I'll say he lifted Fu Manchu. Ra's al Ghul, Fu Manchu. It's a straight rip. Yeah, absolutely. That's why I laughed whenever I hear Chuck Dixon talking about the deal that him and Neil Adams made for Batman Begins for Ra's al Ghul, and I'm thinking, where's Sax Rohmer's cut? The Sax Rohmer estate. They should have gotten a little bit of that. I mean, that's
in Denny's, and I love Denny O'Neil. I think Denny O'Neil is one of the best editors Marvel Comics ever had. So don't think I just think his writing left a little bit for design. But I don't think every character is a ripoff of everybody else. So like every character, like Superman is inspired a little bit by Doc Savage. The Batman is inspired a little bit by the Shadow, and you know what I mean. And Green Arrow is
they were pastiches.
Got fired from
they were pastiches, though. A little bit of Philip Wiles, the Gladiator, a little bit of the Shadow, a little bit of Samson from the Bible. But Fu Manchu was essentially. Ra's al Ghul is essentially Fu Manchu. I told you the name Fu Manchu, 3 syllables. Ra's al Ghul. One is the Sifan. The other one's the League of Shadows. or the League of Assassins back then. One had a beautiful daughter called Sifan. No, not what was her name? I forgot her name. But she was in love with Sir Dennis Nayland Smith, and she constantly betrays her dad to help Dennis Nayland Smith. And the other one's got Talia, who loves Batman and constantly conspires against her dad. That it's the same thing. I mean, even when he was drawn in Batman 232, I'm not going to do it because it's going to seem racially insensitive, but he was drawn with slant eyes. I mean, for the first several issues, Ra's al Ghul had slant eyes, So it was a rip. It was a straight up rip. It was not a home. It was a rip.
Denny O'Neil was fired as an editor for Marvel Comics. Jim Shooter fired him.
Oh, yeah?
That's why he went to be the Batman editor. DC scooped him up. He didn't do anything. He let his assistant editor do all the work, Mike Carlin.
Mm.
And then this was in that 8-hour interview with, not something I talked to Jim Shooter about, but there's an 8-hour interview out on the internet of Jim Shooter. It's fascinating. You got to do it in chunks though, because it's too long. And he said he fired. He was just lazy. He goes, I love Denny, but he wasn't doing his job.
Yeah. What am I paying you for if Mike Carlin's going to be doing it all?
That's right.
Yeah. I'm going to give you a little spoiler for a Long Box Comics in the future. Ra's al Ghul is the Arabic name for Algol, the star.
Yeah.
So there might be a character named Algol showing up some point. A master.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
So that's why I got a little defense. All characters are based on somebody else, or at least.
That's your business, John. So.
Yeah.
So did we ever discover who was the best girl?
My opinion is for the best girlfriend, the best normal girlfriend / boyfriend in all comics is Alicia Masters, and I'm biased because Ben Grimm is my,
until she took over Johnny Storm.
Margot Lane, for me.
Yours, okay. I like Margot Lane for a bunch of reasons. First off, it's an unconventional relationship. She's his operative, but she's also his confidant, and
his girlfriend. Yeah,
and they have like a weird. I don't want to get into it, but like a weird dynamic as far as their sexual relationship too. So
yeah,
they're they can't do it in the comic books properly. They came close onto Howard Chaykin, but if you know Howard Chaykin, that's no surprise. He's kind of.
I met him once. He was actually pretty nice.
He was a nice guy. I met him too. He was really. You ought to try to get him on the show, John.
I would love to. I emailed a lot of people. For everybody who's been on my show, there's been 100 guys that I haven't had a response to. So Marcus, who's your favorite?
I'm gonna say Alicia Masters as well, and I'm gonna forget that she was even a good girlfriend for Johnny Storm. When you think about it, although that was not a great idea. Right.
When Alicia Masters married Johnny Storm, I rage quit the Fantastic Four.
But she ended up to be a Skrull, so what the heck?
And then they retroactively
got some of that Skrull stuff, It's pretty interesting.
So those of you who don't know,
so they retconned her. So it's Alicia. It has to be Alicia Masters.
So Alicia Masters. So after Secret Wars, Ben Grimm stayed on Battle World.
I remember that. Yeah.
And Alicia was devastated, and Johnny Storm was being a good guy, and then they started hooking up. And then they ended up getting married. And oh my God, I was just like, dude, Johnny, you just broke the bro code. You broke the bro code, And then
that was John Byrne's idea, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But she was
John Byrne's a little bit.
Didn't they make her a Skrull?
Yeah. And then later on, I think the fan reaction was so bad that they Tom DeFalco changed her into Elijah the Skrull.
That was actually probably a better idea in the long run.
Yeah. So they turned her into a Skrull. Yeah. So Johnny bagged the Skrull. So Elijah turned out to she was supposed to infiltrate the Fantastic Four. She turned into Alicia Masters, and then later on she betrayed the Skrulls because
she was ended up to be a good guy, right?
Yeah, she fell in love with Johnny Storm.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I heard Johnny's hooking up with the Centipede now. Is that true? That's like his new girlfriend?
Really?
I don't know if that was a couple of years ago. I don't know if that.
Weird. Yeah. I saw the picture of him making out with it, and I was like, whoa.
all I know is I every once in a while I get the urge, like I missed the Fantastic Four, so I'll buy like a year and I'll read. So I think I'm in the middle of 2018, so that's how far back I am. So if he thinks I want a centipede, I'm not there yet. And I will say, 2018 is the year the Fantastic Four went woke. Like I quit in 2015, it was still pretty good, and in the middle of 2018, I was like, oh, this is the issue. This is the issue.
Hey, John, what about Sue Storm?
Well, she's a powerful, so I
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
the human too. It's so hard to parody. So I don't know. I think Johnny Storm also bagged Dr. Doom's fiance. Yeah, I saw that panel. I didn't read the comic. I saw that panel.
I didn't know that. That's awesome. Like, it's so stupid. You have to laugh.
Oh, I got one for you, Marcus. Captain America's girlfriends.
Oh God, Sharon Carter.
Sharon Carter is the ultimate.
She was a good girlfriend. Yeah, well, Sharon. Well, it's Peggy Carter in the world. Well, it wasn't officially Peggy Carter. She was just Mademoiselle in a flashback that John Romita drew. He really didn't have a girlfriend way back when.
He did. Betty Ross or Betsy Ross. Yeah, the one that's created by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby.
Right,
she later became Sunshine Girl.
And Peggy was the one he met in France.
Mm-hmm.
And then they expanded her, and then he had to have a young girlfriend. He couldn't have some old hag,
But what about Bertie Rosenthal?
That was his girlfriend. That was a weird time.
I don't remember that.
She was a good girlfriend.
It was in the 70s. I think it was the Steve Englehart run. Steve Rogers was a comic book artist, and Bertie was like, was she like?
No, I think Bernie was J.M. DeMatteis.
J.M. DeMatteis.
When was he the captain? When would remember after Watergate? Was that Englehart?
No, he was the captain during Grunwald.
Okay, yeah. No, he was Nomad, right? Nomad, yeah.
Right before the
because
wedding.
even way back then, they didn't know how to write Captain America. Even though
They still don't.
They still didn't really understand because they all hated America. That's why.
No, it's because the character was pure pro-America war propaganda as done by Kirby and Simon. And then when he was brought in 64, Lee decided to change him up to the man out of time, which is great. And it's a classic way a great, brilliant way of doing it. But in doing that, they forgot about the fact that he was still punching Hitler in the face, red, white, and blue, ma, pa, and apple pie and all that.
I can't help thinking if I was writing Captain America, like in the 70s, I would have him go to like a veterans reunion of old timers and stuff like that. And as weird as it sounds, he would, I don't want to say date or anything, but it would just like be enamored with an older woman. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's time. You know what I mean? And he's just like, yeah, I know it's not going to go anywhere, but it's kind of like a weird relationship with him with like a gray-haired lady. You know what I mean? Like dancing to jitterbug music of his past. Like that would have been the woman that he would if he never was frozen in the ice. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
But like he's not going to marry some like Captain America. Like as we progress, like he's been in the ice longer and longer. We know how comic book time is wonky, but he's not going to get interested in some like girl who's taking selfies and stuff like that.
No, but when he got involved with like Sharon Carter, she wasn't like that,
Right.
She was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., so
I could see Captain America like literally falling for an Amish girl or something.
What about the Black Widow? Oh wait, that was the MCU. Never mind. Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
The old lady who got away very slowly.
Black Widow dated Daredevil.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. I knew it was probably the MCU. What'd you guys think of the ending of that, by the way? The fact that he decides to go back in time and he's going to allow all of the horrible shit to happen.
He would do. That was like, I get the idea that he wanted to hook up with Peggy, and have a life. But that's where they didn't think about it because they were losing the actor. So they had to figure it out and they wanted to give him a fun ending. but Captain America would never be that
But
selfish.
not only that, he's going to allow all those horrible things to happen that he
No,
knows.
I know. Well, that's the whole thing, right? Exactly. He wouldn't that doesn't make sense. But Chris Evans decided he didn't want to be Captain America, which is a mistake in him. He just take the part and be the part for the rest of your career because you're not going to get a better one.
Probably.
Right.
But that's what they decide. So they panic. That's all.
When I talked about that with Chuck Dixon, it's like, no, it's not in Captain America's DNA. He's going to sit through Vietnam. He's going to sit through the Korean War.
Exactly. He's going to allow Oswald to put a bullet in or whoever did.
Right. Yeah. He's going to let Kennedy get assassinated. You know what I mean? Like, no.
No, I agree. And it's a weird. It's weird. That's definitely true. But they were panicking. Like, well, they had to kill off Tony Stark, and they had to.
Right. Yeah. Here's another one. Captain America's.
He was powered, so I didn't think of them.
He's going to let 9/11 happen.
Exactly.
9/11 was a problem for the comics,
I like when Diamondback. I forgot about he dated Diamondback for a little while. You're right.
But she was a superhero. So did she have luck powers or something?
Diamondback. I remember she threw diamonds at people.
I forgot what she had.
Yeah. Hey John, do you have the complete run of Sandman Mystery Theater? You have the oh nice.
Yeah,
love that stuff.
I collected it as it came out.
That's another one. Guy Davis. You should ask him.
Yeah, I should. I really like it. He did that, and then he went on to do the BPRD, which I really like.
Yeah,
did you ever read Lamarquis, that horror book that he made with the? It's like Solomon Kane, but he wears like the big nose.
I just bought it, but I didn't read it yet because
that is good. Ugly.
Recommended it to me. I was talking about who was I talking about with Guy Davis, and they brought that up. I will say this though. Wrong image, but I don't blame Captain America going back in time to spend some time with that.
Oh my God,
I don't blame.
It was a sad day when they canceled her TV show. Oh my God, I love that show so much.
But he's not going to. No, Zach did. He didn't let 9/11. But if he goes back in time, they're not thinking this through. Because he shows up as an old man, so he makes it to this time period. He's not going to call the FBI and tell them that the 9/11 is about to happen.
Even if he's not directly involved,
right. He's going to let Kennedy get assassinated. He's going to let. How many people were assassinated throughout all of this? To be controversial, he's going to go beat up with Bernstein and stop Watergate. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Yeah, he'll go protect Joe McCarthy. Joe, don't trust this guy. Don't do this. Just keep doing this.
Joe, you're really right. Joe, you were right the whole time.
Look, he'll rescue Joe McCarthy from getting thrown out the window of that hospital.
Yeah. He didn't think it through. Captain America.
Right. I mean, he was rooting out all the communists in the 50s, and they just waited till the 70s to start getting back in.
When I was a kid, I grew up reading the Mark Gruenwald Captain America run, and I liked it, but man, it was kind of political too. Like it seems like only left wingers write Captain America. I don't think anybody's ever written a patriotic Captain America story since the 50s.
Because most comic book writers are left wingers.
Wade and Garney's wasn't bad.
And remember that whole thing with the secret society or the secret empire and
that was Steve Englehart basically apologizing for Captain America fighting communists. That was that thing. Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't the real Captain America.
When I was a kid, I really did like those comics.
For me, that character died when I don't know who did it.
You guys can't talk at the same time.
Oh, sorry.
I was just saying, when I was a kid, I did like those when he was, the Steve Englehart, Sal Buscema Captain America. I mean, the first he fought the evil captain. I mean, it was political. We see it now, but you were a kid, you didn't really see it as much. It was still basically the story and the adventure of it.
I will say that those comics, they brought back Jack Kirby for a reason. Jack Kirby took over Captain America, and right at the end of that Secret Empire, I forget who else they did, and it wasn't selling too well. They brought back Captain,
Frank Burt Robbins was drawing it.
and it was just insanity. Mad bombs and Modoc
Oh, that
shooting
stuff's nuts.
Aratola. It had no connection to reality,
Not at all.
because
I hated it when they made him into a Hydra agent. That's when the character died.
That was way later.
When he looked over there and he said "Hail Hydra," I was like, "I'm done with this. I'm done with
All Kirby's comics had no. He had it where they had no connection at all to continuity. Captain America, Black Panther, they were like in their own worlds. On its own, it's kind of fun to read. But if you were like somebody in Marvel and you were like the real Captain America, had to be in Avengers at that time, right?
Captain America to me always the best of the Avengers.
He was probably better in Avengers in most of his comics. I mean, the best Captain America I can remember is Roger Stern and John Byrne in a Too Short run. That was patriotic. And those guys, well, Byrne's not super lefty, but Stern probably is.
Yeah.
But
Well,
those are terrific comics.
After we talk about this, shows that we finished with our the girlfriend boyfriend topic. So, what do you want to do for next week? Do you guys want to follow us up with best sidekick?
Oh, we have a frozen.
work. Yeah.
So we'll do best sidekick for next week. Next week is probably going to be midnight because I'm going to be back onto this crazy schedule.
Well, my character's the best sidekick, Johnny Halo. That's it. He wins. We don't have to have a show.
Can we use superpower sidekicks?
Yeah, any sidekick. From
Okay, cool.
to Robin to Spoiler to Toro, the Forgotten.
I can't believe I actually created a sidekick I could talk about. That's awesome.
So we'll talk about sidekicks next week, and I guess we'll wind down. We got a lot of people watching, guys. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Yeah.
So check out Heroic Tales 2. It's still on Fund My Comic. It's still available. I should do a better job of promoting it lately. I kind of let it slide, but got the last 2 pages need to be colored. Come on, Daniel, submit the last 2 pages, and then I got everybody. I was just talking to the editor. I said I want to make up for lost time, so they're just waiting. We're gonna go fast. I got my pre-press guy just ready. Like I just called everybody today, and I was just like, as soon as these 2 pages are lettered, can we just hit it? And they're like, yeah, let's make up for lost time.
John, quick question: is RJ still doing the Wednesday streams, or did he stop?
I'm telling tales out of school, but RJ had a death in the family.
Oh, well, my condolences.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
RJ stepping away from everything right now. He's pretty devastated, and it's not that he's stepping away from he can't stay up till midnight to do it with me because I'm working. So he's doing his own things for the next 6 weeks. I would like to come back, but I could have done it this week because I was on a normal schedule, but he had a death in the family. I don't know if he's going to get upset with me for saying that, but he's a pretty private guy.
Can you please pass along my condolences?
Yeah,
thank you.
Pray for RJ. He's taking it. RJ for the 4th age is what we're talking about. So he's having a rough.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
So that's that. I'll convey the message. Yeah. Things happen. Life has its ups and life has its downs. So
don't I know it?
As much as I complain about a stupid schedule, and then I find out other things about other people's lives. You know what I mean? I was complaining about my life today to my wife, and then I remember my wife's father went blind. When my wife was like 7 years old.
Oh.
And so I'm just like, oh yeah, I guess I can't complain when your dad was a father to you and he was freaking blind. So
right.
Yep. So anyway, that's that. Oh, so Sunday I'm gonna go back to the X-Men. I'll do the next series of X-Men that Sunday 10 o'clock. Tomorrow I don't know if I'm gonna stream or not. I got this big pile of D&D books. I might just go live later on and talk about these D&D books. Next week is weird because Monday I'm on a regular schedule. Tuesday I'm on a regular schedule. Then Wednesday I go to the evening schedule. So Monday and Tuesday I have my.
That's really kind of weird. Well, at least you can have game night one of those nights, right?
It's because I'm going to I'm going back to the airport, so all my certifications got to get re-upped. So I got to be when the people in the office there. So I'm going to do that Monday and Tuesday. Go back to the others. So Monday and Tuesday, I'm going to game with my friends, board games. I haven't seen them in a couple of weeks.
Right. You should do that.
So my next show will be Wednesday at noon. Telepathic Bunny, myself, and Luke Stone. We're going to do theology. We're going to talk about like this trend of everybody coming back to the church, to religion and stuff. So it'll be nice because Luke is a pastor. Telepathic Bunny knows a lot, and I'm a guy trying to figure out what I believe. So there we go. And then I have nothing scheduled except for next Friday, Clobbering Time, Sidekicks. So there we go. So that's everything. Marcus, anything you want to promote, talk about?
We're on the studio tomorrow. We don't have a guest. It looks like Tank Ferret's running away with the voting.
You guys have a topic that you're drawing?
Yeah, I don't. That's fine. That's why I don't join those things, because I just draw stuff. I'm not trying to be flashy. Okay. And that's about it. Buy Heroic Tales so that we can make Public Eye. I'm working on the 2-pager. Yeah, I'm not showing it anymore because I don't want to have no spoilers.
So I got 3 Public Eye stories like locked and loaded and ready to go. So guys,
I fixed the things. I fixed the antlers.
So what else was I going to say? Oh, geez. Now I'm forgetting what I was. Oh yeah. Marcus is going to be on the studio. That's on Don Draws stuff. That's the name.
I know. Yeah, I feel like I can't do it. I'm tired. I don't feel that good. I'm tired.
And Tony,
it's a long week.
No, nothing. I just want to say, Marcus, John, it's a pleasure as always. Everybody buy Heroic Tales.
And see you guys. So as always, buy kids.